Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Neves brings it down on the volley. Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal. Oh, it's headed in. It's the Anderlecht Donker who arrives. Oh, the brilliant Belgian in the right place at the right time. Calls it all. That's unbelievable. Jean Martinho has whipped it into the far top corner. Can you believe this?
Good morning and welcome to the home of football. The sun is shining and hopefully it will be a golden day across the Black Country. Derby Day has arrived, a day 3,261 days we have had to wait to meet the old enemy once more. Wolverhampton Wanderers against West Bromwich Albion. Such a famous occasion, and we will bring you as much of the most over-the-top, incredible biased coverage as we can possibly produce between now and 12:30.
Don't know what you're talking about, mate.
And then from kickoff, the man you've just heard in the Hall of Fame, Randy Thompson, will profess that every free kick given to West Brom was wrong.
Yeah.
Everything given to Wolves was absolutely right.
Good referee.
He won't like VAR if it gives anything whatsoever against Wolves
Especially today, mate. I'm telling you, especially today.
We're getting it out of the way early on. Also with us, Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme as well. Quite a few have kind of had differing emotions when it comes to Derby Day down the years. We've got plenty of big name guests to kind of help you get a flavour of what it's like to be a part of this game, because it is a unique occasion. It is something that you would normally hopefully enjoy, but the nerves will be there for so many. We will get into all of that very shortly. We'll also talk about the team news as well that'll come through in just a moment. But before we kind of get on to today's game, I'm trying to kind of keep Tomo's level under wraps. I can see Looms is already getting pumped. Keems is always cool, calm and collected.
Too calm, mate. It's cool as ice.
That's what goalkeepers need to do. Let's just reflect very quickly on Everton the other night, Chris Iwelumo, because there were a couple of things that kind of came out of it. One of which being, you know, the defensive issues that we've seen a couple of times in recent weeks. Nuno's even talked about it. That element of having to cut out that error that ends up leading to a goal and cost them.
You're spot on, Mikey. You know, it's individual error, isn't it? You know, the Iwobi goal, you know, it's Neves. He lets his man run off him. You've got to be switched early in the match as well. The Gomez cross, I've got to say, I think it was excellent from Gomez. He just took a touch and whipped it in. But again, in the box, Aït-Nouri out of position, Saiss, so Keane just comes over the top, and it's a fantastic header. But when you look at that game, in my opinion, there's more positives to take out of it than negatives. You controlled the game with the ball. You created more chances. Okay, I think on target, 3 shots apiece. But other than that, I think smashed them with shots off target, block shots, everything, you know. So the disappointing thing is that, and we talk about it, the hardest thing to do in football, Mike, is to put the ball in the back of the net. We're creating the chances. I think a game like, I know we're talking about Everton, but a game like today, I think we're going to dominate the ball again. I think Sam will just have them compact, but there's so many more positives to take out of it. But those defensive issues will be a worry for Nuno. You know, I think if it's from set pieces, if it's from free kicks coming in the box, you need experienced players to be talking to the young lads to make sure positioning's right. And I feel that there'll be a few more experienced heads come into today's team.
Because this is the interesting thing, Carl Ikeme, that it's the element of, you know, look, we are always going to be taking the positive angle. You know, certainly that's what I've always done down the years. And I looked at Tuesday night, and again, I've looked at recent games, and I kind of go, well, there's an awful lot of positives to take out from there. We all agreed, didn't we? They were very good in the first half. They didn't quite equate that into a second half performance, but the margins at the minute, Keems, are fairly small.
Yeah, they're really small, Mikey. And as you said, I know we have got a biased opinion, but I think we also say it how we see it at times as well. And when we've been poor, we've said that. So I think looking at the games, did we deserve some of the results? No, but the margins are that small. But we all kind of know where we've been lacking, and it's in the goal scoring department. If you're not scoring, you're always liable to concede a goal. And a lot of the goals, the only disappointment in some of the goals that we've conceded is that they've been a little bit sloppy. And I think that's the major thing. We've talked about performances and defending, but some of them have just been individual errors that need to be cut out, really. I think you look at the Brighton game and other games. I agree with Looms. I thought the header was fantastic on Tuesday night. The cross and headers, like, not all goals are completely defendable. But there have been times where we have let the opposition score goals that we shouldn't have allowed, really. And I think that's the only disappointing fact. But as the performances, they've been good. That our performances haven't warranted the results that we've had in the last 8 games.
Tomo, Nuno's quote leading into this was that we have to go back to our main foundation, clean sheets. He knows where those errors are.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to touch on the clean sheets. Now, if you're keeping clean sheets, it always gives you the opportunity to win the game, and that's what we've always done since Nuno's come here. We've always kept clean sheets. It gives us the opportunities to score goals, and as the boys have touched on as well, we found it difficult since Jimenez has been out to actually put the ball in the net. Okay, we've had other people who've scored and contributed to that, but you're missing your main striker. But you've got to keep clean sheets. Now, we talk about fine margins in games, and that's what it's been about conceding. But what would really disappoint me is how early and conceding that first goal that we always seem to be chasing the game. We can't keep chasing games. We can't afford to keep giving away goals. And I know we say about the winning goal against Everton, but fine margins again. If we get out there quicker, we stop the cross. The cross doesn't come in, doesn't get the header, which you want. So it is so fine about what you can and can't do, and you're thinking, oh, it's not going to happen. But in this league, you get punished for switching off for just a split second, and that's what's happened in the games.
I also think that you get punished if you don't score, and I think it brings an added pressure onto your defence. And I think that's an issue with us at the minute, is that because we're not scoring, and sometimes you can see that we're looking, thinking, where's this goal going to come from? I think it puts pressure on you defending as well, because if you know you're going to struggle to get a goal, like it brings more of a pressure sort of as a team into all your performances.
But as a team, the goals have to come from everywhere as well.
Yeah.
I think the defence, I think the like you say, Neves getting a goal the other day was outstanding for me, because hopefully that will start. But it's not just a pressure on the front three, the front four to go out and get the goals. Saiss has stepped up. But can anyone else come in and bring goals from those defensive positions? It's not just a pressure, but you're spot on. If you don't score on top, when you're on top in a game, and like you say, the first half against Everton was excellent, showed great character to come back into the game. But again, it is vital that you score goals. We had on top, Carl.
We had a lot of the ball as well in the second half, and we still didn't create chances. And that's where the pressure comes. It wasn't possession in where we were looking to hurt Everton, but we had a lot. We was in control of the game in a sense. I don't think we deserve to win it necessarily, but we're having control of games, and that's I agree. We need to score, because you're always going to have a moment where you're going to have to defend, and if you don't take advantage of, like Loom said, of them moments when you're on top, you're in trouble.
On that basis, though, Tomo, Willy Bolly is back. He is fit, and he starts today. Nuno, rather unusually, gave that information out in his press conference yesterday. It was part of an embargoed bit that kind of goes to the written media, but very bullish about that. Adama Traore is back in the starting lineup as well. Rayanate Nori and Morgan Gibbs-White are the two to drop out, which means that we're anticipating Romain Saiss may well play at left back, though, of course, there is still the possibility that he could do something different. Neto could play as a wing-back, for instance, or he could put Dendoncker into the back line and play it that way with Saiss at wing-back. So I guess there's an element of keeping Albion guessing a little bit of what they're going to do. But if we anticipate it being a back four of Semedo, Bolly, Cody and Saiss, does that give us a little bit more strength? Certainly defending that far post that we've just been talking about.
Yeah, it does. And on set pieces, both ends of the pitch as well. So like, I think that Bolly coming back into the game is going to be a massive boost to the team. So, like, just because his presence in there, I think that he's an outstanding player, can play from the back, but we've seen what he can do defensively as well, and up in the attacking third as well. So it's a massive, massive bonus. And having Traore back as well, I think we all missed him. So, like, teams we know are scared of him, the way that he runs at people. And I think it's going to be today that he's got to try to break through the lines. I thought the game where he's put it into the top corner against Crystal Palace was outstanding. He had a great game. And we want more of that. We want to see more of him. We want to see more goals from him. But he's going to be a threat to anybody. And again, saying about Bolly, I think that they're playing a little bit of mind games with the opposition as well, which is nothing wrong with this at all, especially on Derby Day.
Saiz at left back. Sorry, Looms, I'll come to you in a second. Carl Ikeme, from the defensive point of view, as a goalkeeper, if you know that you have that little bit more steel in that kind of area, is that a big benefit?
I think we've probably all been in teams where you've had a few bad results and you just resort back to solid. And I think that's what this is today. I think Nuno's just gone back to solid with bringing Saiz left back. He just knows what he's going to get with Saiz. He might not get the skills that Aït-Nouri might do down the line, and he might not be going past the West Brom right back at too many occasions, but he knows what he's going to get. He knows he's going to get a solid performance, and he knows he's got height as well, because sometimes we have struggled from set pieces. We look small in both departments, going forward and at the back. So I think as well, it just brings more height and physicality to the team, as I'm sure Nuno's aware of what Sam will probably be wanting to do. He's going to probably look for set plays and try and build off that.
From the attacking sense, Chris Iwelumo, he's gone with Fabio Silva. There will be a lot of supporters that would have looked at Patrick Cutrone and kind of thought, if there's ever going to be an incredible story of a return to the club, today could well be the day. But then it's Fabio's big chance too.
Well, we said this the other night. I think we all know how good a player he is. I think the only thing that's probably missing is it's been a couple of chances now and it's not consistently hitting the back of the net. I think his movement, I think his link-up play is excellent, and that's going to be vital today. We understand what West Brom are going to do. They're going to come here, shut up shop. That's why the likes of Adama Traore's come in. Pedro Neto. These are two players that can drive, attack players, take players on, commit, create other space for other players around. Fabio Silva's very much the same, intelligent player. I think the onus is basically on the likes of Saiz and Semedo to get forward, to put them on their back foot. And I understand why we've probably went 4 at the back with West Brom going with Callum Robinson up there on his own. So Conor Cody, it'll be very similar to having 3. So Willie Bolly will go and Conor Cody can just basically sit in behind and do that sweeper role that we know that he's excellent at. So I think there's a lot of thought that Nuno's put into the actual formation, because if you have 5 or 3 at the back there against the one, you want that extra two, the two personnel up in those attacking areas. So I'm surprised. I think we spoke about it. I think Moutinho, I think this was a game that I felt that he could have probably come out and put another attacking player in, so we have more, because I feel that we will be just knocking at the door. Can Neves get on the ball and look forward? And I think that's why Fabio Silva's the point man, because his intelligent play, his link-up play, his movement will create space for others. It will create space for the likes of Traore and Neto to come from wide to in, and Neves can play that ball. He can execute that pass. So again, it's interesting. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
From what Looms is saying as well, I think it's important that maybe Moutinho is that sitter today, and we can get Neves and Duncan as a number 8 to get them forward and that, because West Brom are going to be sitting in there, and we're going to have to try and get bodies breaking around that box as well.
Okay, we'll come back to this because there is so much more to discuss between now and kick-off, but we do have the first of our big name guests joining us on Matchday Live Extra this lunchtime, building up to a huge Black Country derby, a man who has played for both of these teams, the legend that is Don Goodman. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, everybody. I can't believe I'm saying good morning. How's everybody doing?
Don, you have played for both. You played in 5 of these for Wolves. We were trying to work out, did you ever represent the Baggies in one of these?
Oh, yes. Yes. It was when Molineux was only 2 sides. Tomo, remember that? Because We drew 2-2. I think I scored. Tony Ford went in goal. Our goalkeeper got stretchered off, I think. And yeah, that was about the best I ever did in a Black Country derby.
He was getting to that next night, I think.
Yeah, your record for Wolves in these: played 5, 2 draws, and 3 defeats.
Yeah. Thanks.
They're not the happiest of memories for you.
No, I left all the glory to Tomo and Bully. Yeah. No, it's just one of those. It's one of those things. I mean, look, the bottom line is when I played for Wolves, we were the great underachievers, weren't we? At the end of the day, we had one of the best, if not the best, teams at the time in the Championship, and we didn't achieve what we really should. I think Tomo will echo those sentiments. At the end of the day, we were a team full of good players, and just never managed to get across the finishing line as far as promotion was concerned, which is obviously the biggest picture of all when I was playing for Wolves.
That's the interesting point, though, isn't it, Dom? Because you mentioned the amount of money that Wolves had kind of spent and the expectation on the team kind of feels a little bit similar now, in that the expectation is on Wolves again to go and win. But as you can attest, it doesn't always work out like that on these kind of days.
No, I think there are some fundamental differences, i.e. Wolves are in the Premier League already. So the expectation is on a team that is or has done really well over the course of the last couple of Premier Leagues and is doing okay in very difficult testing circumstances this season. When you throw all the factors into the mix, it's been an okay season, hasn't it? Really, I mean, we all would have hoped for better. We all would have hoped that Wolves would be able to push on and try and achieve higher than 7th, which obviously would mean European football. But there have been mitigating circumstances of that. There is no doubt. So yeah, from that perspective, the expectations are high, but the level is one above, which is a great thing for the football club.
Well, just on that, Don, what you're saying, will it play a part, do you think, that the fact that the climate that we're in, that the players won't really understand how big a match this is? Like that build-up, the week, fans coming up to you, saying about how important the game is, walking out a full Molineux with the fans, the tension in the air, the press coverage would have probably been a little bit lighter in this build-up. So none of these players have played in this derby match before. So is that a negative, do you think?
Well, it's the same for West Bromwich Albion as well, Chris, isn't it? At the end of the day, I don't think there's any of their players that have played in a Black Country derby either. So it's a difficult one. There was nothing quite like the derby games back in the day. Let's not beat about the bush. They were blood, they were thunder. You had to stand up to the challenge physically. The crowd loved it when you got wired in. And you knew what it meant. Of course, you knew what it meant. I'm sure that to the best of their ability, everybody on both sides will be drumming into the players what this means to the fans. This is enormous. It's a massive game. And actually, where both teams find themselves in the league table, Chris, is another enormous factor. It's possibly the best game that West Bromwich Albion could have. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah.
I just need to power up my laptop. Hang on, sorry guys.
Professional to the end, mate. There you go.
This is what we're losing. This is what you love.
But technology.
Yeah. Go on. Well, let's talk about that, boys. Whilst Don sorts his laptop out, because we're in that situation, aren't we, whereby there is no crowd, and how does that affect the game? How does that affect the players that are involved?
Mikey, we've got leaders. We've got leaders in the dressing room. We've got big characters that in themselves. We've shown in the months and the years gone by that they're a group of winners. That they bounce back. They've got the character. We've got big characters that they just want to win every match anyway. This match is massive. But Don made a great point. There's West Brom in the exact same situation, but it's the build-up. I remember big derby matches. It's the build-up, the press asking you, doing the interviews, the fans coming up to you in the street. It just adds to the tension, and that's something that the players have to create themselves. But they've been doing this since the 20th of June on restart. They have to create that intensity themselves. So again, hopefully they take that into the match today.
Just to add to that, I've been getting a few messages this week about this game already, and I'm sure a few of the lads have as well. I've been getting messages saying, have you spoke to any of the lads? Do they know what this game's about? And I'm sure that will feed into some of the lads. Lads are all probably on social media. I'm sure lads are getting like little messages talking about Derby Day. They'll start to feel it. It will never be the same as the games that Dan are talking about, but they'll know what this is about. They'll know this is a derby, and if they don't, I'm sure the likes of Cody and the more experienced players will let them know that, and Nuno as well.
Well, this is the beauty of it, isn't it, really? Welcome back to Don, by the way.
Sorry, guys.
The element of Tomo, that Nuno told a story yesterday that when he first arrived at the club and he flew into the airport, the taxi driver that picked him up said to him, just beat the Albion.
That's what it means, though. So I'm on the way to the ground this morning. So look, I'm looking at, there's people walking around with the Wolves shirts, families with all in the Wolves shirts and got the scarves on, the hats, and that's just at 10:30 in the morning, ready for the game. They're getting themselves prepared. It's a massive game. It's a massive game on the fans' front. I know it's been a while since we played against Albion, but they'll be looking forward to it. They'll be looking forward to hopefully getting that victory and getting a response out of the team after the results haven't been great. Performances have been okay, but they'll be after that result. It doesn't matter. This is the one that all the fans look towards that day of the season when we play in the Albion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel the tension a little bit.
I'm nervous as well.
I know we're all Wolves people and that, but I feel the sort of that energy around. I know it's not the same as being at the Molineux today, but I feel that nervous sort of excitement of a derby day as well. So I'm sure all the fans on both sides, and I'm sure that energy will get to the players.
I think the really key point is the tension. The pressure is more on Wolves. Because everybody expects Wolves to beat West Bromwich Albion. So the pressure and the tension, and that's, I played a team up in Scotland. I played for Motherwell, and we played an Aberdeen team at the end of October who hadn't won a single game. Well, West Brom have won one game so far, and everybody expected us to beat. But sooner or later that they're going to win a game, and you just pray that it's not going to be against you. And then you chuck into the mix the fact that it's the biggest game of the season for both sets of fans. It's the Black Country Derby. Chuck into the mix where they are in the table and what their aspirations are, and it's all set up. But the pressure is on Wolves. There's no question about that.
I think as everyone's saying,
just saying about that. So Allardyce has come in, and we all know what he's about, and you know as well. How do you think he's going to go about today's game?
Are you talking to me? Or?
Yeah, sorry, John. Yeah, to you, Don.
Yeah, I've looked at the team selection. It looks like a 4-4-1-1 to me. Pereira is a dangerous player, but he doesn't see enough of the ball to influence games as often as West Brom would like him to. Look, I'm not going to beat about the bush here. I went on record. I've covered quite a few West Bromwich Albion games. I've criticised their board of directors for the lack of support that they gave Slaven Bilic. I think they've made a huge mistake in sacking Slaven Bilic just when it seemed that they were turning a little bit of a corner. They got a draw away at Man City, but they've made that choice. But Sam has come in to take over a championship team, a very good championship team, and that's me. With all due respect to every single player in that West Bromwich Albion squad, that is a championship team that stuttered over the line. Let's not forget at the back end of last season. So if you throw the last sort of 9-10 results that they got at the back end of last season and add them to the front end of this season, this is a football club that hasn't won it's only won a couple of games, in that long period. So it's a club that's hurting. It's a club that turned to the saviour in Sam Allardyce. He's a firefighter, isn't he? He's the Red Adair. He goes to clubs to bail them out, and he's done it time and time and time again. This is the biggest challenge of Sam Allardyce's managerial career. If he keeps this squad, this team in the Premier League, it will be the biggest escape of all. It will be a genius move, because the chasm between, in reality, what West Bromwich Albion are capable, albeit they have good individual players, but as a team, they're not strong enough. The reality is, the difference in reality is that Wolves are a very established, good, solid championship, Premier League team. Sorry, forget that I said that. Premier League team, and who are looking upwards and who are aspiring for bigger things. Who, unfortunately for them, have lost their best player in Raul Jimenez. They've lost their goals. They lost Diogo Jota. They lost Matt Doherty, a huge source of attacking prowess. So, and then you chuck into the mix injuries, suspensions. You chuck into the mix the fact that everybody's going through the COVID thing. You chuck into the mix that the games come thick and fast. Barely any coaching can be done on the training ground. It's all about play, recover. And it's been a very, very difficult season.
Don, really appreciate your time. Sorry, Clemes, we've got to move on. Don, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you've got a busy weekend.
It's a pleasure, guys.
Thank you,
Take it easy, mate.
All the best. Stay safe, lads. All the best.
Thank you, Dan Goodman.
I was just going to ask him before Alvin was going down, which is going to be yes.
Keems, I wanted to come to you on this because we talk about, and we're going to get to Tomo's kind of memories of playing in derbies, which are kind of probably very different to yours, because you were an unused sub on one occasion. I worked out the other day back in 2006. That's your derby, really.
Yeah, I was I didn't really get to experience a derby day really, which was disappointing. Sort of when we talk about derbies, the derbies that I always played in were Villa and Blues really, and I never really got the taste of a proper Black Country derby. So that's sort of one sort of, even this morning thinking about it, I never really got to enjoy them. I've been at many derby days. Games, but I'd never really got to really experience for myself. I have memories of the derbies, but none from a personal point of view, really.
Do you feel like you missed out?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, massively. It's a massive regret, sort of when people talk about the derby days and the atmosphere. I've been in them atmospheres, obviously watching the game, but I've never actually played them. And even though the Villa and Blues derbies were hostile, it just was never the same as the Albion ones.
Well, let's talk to a man who is part of the reason why you didn't get to play in some of those derby matches. Joining us on Matchday Live Extra from Wolves TV is the former Wolves goalkeeper, Matt Murray, who is connecting in right now. I say Matt Murray having a 3 derby appearances, 1 win and 2 defeats, and twice on the bench as well. And as we've just been saying, you're the reason Keems never got to enjoy this kind of atmosphere.
Well, a couple of the ones he didn't want to enjoy, because it certainly wasn't very enjoyable when we got absolutely slapped and they left all the Tesco carrier bags on the seat at the far end, you know. But yeah, the last one we won 1-0, which was nice. And it's a massive game. But how are you all, guys? Anyway, you all okay?
All good, big man.
Good.
Yeah, the nerves and it's a mix of nerves and excitement, I think, is flowing between everybody as we're going towards it. Talk to me about that 1-0, because it was your golden game when we did a podcast the other week. It meant an awful lot to you, that.
It did. I joined Wolves at the age of 9, so I used to watch the Albion when Tomo was playing, you know, Wolves versus Albion when Tomo was playing, and knew what it meant. So even, you know, when you were a schoolboy, you knew that playing the Albion was a big game, massive game. I've been involved even at the age of like 16 when I travelled, and Kev Kilban whipped one over the wall at the Hawthorns, and used to do the match day warm-ups. And even when we were like seen as a stronger side, they often seemed to get the better of us. So it meant so much. And as I said earlier that season, they slapped us at the Hawthorns 3-0, slapped us in the FA Cup 3-0. And it hurt. It really, really hurt. And it hurt the fans. And say when you've been through the systems, you know what it means. So yeah, as a team, we were on it. We were right up there pushing for the playoffs, and we knew that if we could win that game, it cemented our place in the playoffs, sent out a big message, and also got a bit of pride back. So yeah, it was nice to win 1-0 and us doing the easy clap at the end instead of them, and the fans loving it all.
I wanted to talk to you about the leadership element of it, because you know you were one of the leaders of that group, and we were just looking on our screens of Connor Cody getting all the players together in the tunnel before they went out. You know, he did a big interview this week that people can read at wolves.co.uk, where we've just been chatting about that element of the build-up and people wanting to find out if this current group know all about it. He is the key to that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's massive. And Morgan Gibbs-White, who's on the bench, he's come through he's grown up around the area and come through the system. So again, he'll know what it's all about. But yeah, it's amazing how many players you spoke to either weren't from the area or from abroad. When they went out for the warm-up is when they realised, wow, this is a massive game. He talks about the build-up. I remember the build up every time you led into these games. You'd be for a week, you'd be doing media. And again, you can't see your opponents now because of these COVID restrictions. There'll be no fans in the ground. So yeah, Conor Cody will be making sure that every single one of those players knows exactly how much he means. He's a Liverpool lad, so he knows what Liverpool Everton means, and he'll have been around. He's been around the club long enough to know that the last time as well, I commentated on this game, and they beat us heavily, and it was mixed last game. So he will be desperately geeing up those boys. He'll be making sure that they know exactly what it means to these fans, because it's a huge game, and also it's a big game anyway because it's a Black Country derby. It's a massive game because both teams are struggling at the moment for form, and this is a sort of game that can kickstart your season for sure.
I was just going to say what Matty said. I think both teams are under pressure anyway. I think Wolves need a result, and Albion are massively under pressure at the bottom of the table. So I think that there's going to be tension going into this game anyway, because both teams do need to win, really.
Yeah, totally agree on that. And Sam Johnson's going to be a big miss, I think. But
I was going to ask you your opinion on that as well, Matty, as you're the goalkeeping expert. What do you think about Sam Johnson not being in nets today?
I think that, look, we'd all, obviously me and you, Keems, we know what it's like when you're getting a nice run in the team and you have that relationship with your defenders. Tomo being a defender knows again what it's like having a goalkeeper that's there all the time. Yeah. Sam Johnson never misses any football, never ever. So Looms will probably be thinking, striker's point of view, okay, if Sam Johnson's Button's in goal, even though he's a very experienced goalkeeper, it's a massive game to come into. When I came out of the team before Black Country Derby, that's when Wayne made his debut for Wolves, and he stepped into that, did really, really well. I'm sure that for Button, he'll be wanting to get a good first touch, but I think he's someone who's so pivotal to how that team play, what they're about. So yeah, I think it could be something that Wolves could look to exploit. And I don't know what you think, Keems, but I think what will you be thinking?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think Sam Johnson's been Albion's best player this season, in my opinion. I think he's been brilliant. I really think he's a Premier League player. I know some Don was saying that they're a Championship team. I think Sam Johnson is a Premier League goalkeeper, and I think to have him missing when he has probably been arguably one of their better players, I think it's massive. And it's not nice coming into the team when you haven't had any games as well, Matty, as you know. And when you're under pressure as well, it brings even more spotlight on the goalkeeping situation. So as a striker, if I was playing against Button today, I'd be telling Looms to pin him, to make him uncomfortable, and it's not nice. And I don't want Button to have a bad game. I'd say that as well, because I don't like that feeling as a goalkeeper.
We do.
Yeah, you do. But it's not nice. Do you know what I mean? And I think, but I would be saying that it's a ruthless game. And if I was playing golf for Wolves today, I'd be saying that. I'd be saying shoot. Test him to see how sharp he is, because it's difficult coming in after you've not been playing a run of games, and it's even more difficult when you're in a team that's struggling or are conceding goals and are struggling.
For Button, though, I think he'll be happy that he had the FA Cup game. He did have the FA Cup game, even though they lost. That's nice for him to have got that. Probably been aware that Sam was struggling maybe with the COVID, so he was going to get that run and build up to it. But 100%, he'll be one of the good first touch. And I remember seeing Fabio Silva when he signed, so he was in the hotel, and I said to him, "Oi, big man, you want to be a hero? You're going to put a few past the baggies. That game on the 16th of Jan, and it's already here. These fans will love you forever."
Matt, I've got to ask you, how important is Traore Neto going to be today? Because obviously Sam's going to bring West Brom here, probably with the attitude, just do not get beat. So players that can drive, commit, other players, make space for others, they're going to be masses from those wide areas, aren't they?
They are. And I think with Wolves, I've done, obviously seen loads of them recently and not been starting well. Conceded early against Brighton, conceded early again the other day against Everton. So they're going to want to start the game well. I think on the front foot, they need to do that. As you say, I imagine Sam will come in and it won't be about performance, it'll be about result for West Brom. Yeah. It's on the onus is then for Wolves to take it to them. So you need the bit of magic. I think Neto's been absolutely unbelievable. I think he's a really, really good player. He can beat people. So as soon as he can beat people, that's going to then draw them out of their shape. The first goal in this game is massive. If Wolves could go and get it, and eventually Albion have to come out again, I think the pace of Neto, Traore on the counter-attack. So the fact that Traore scored against Palace, I think that's big. Neves is getting a few goals again, which I think is big. So Willy Bolly being back in, we talked about set pieces there, for and against is huge. But yeah, I think if you're looking at match winners, look, we're missing Jimenez. There's no doubt about it. I still thought Catrone might start today, but I feel, Neto and Traore with no Pedence either. I think Neto and Traore definitely, we'd look to them to be our match winners this afternoon.
Hi, Matchday. Look, he says he's brought Snodgrass into the club, and for one reason or another, to say he thinks that he's going to be somebody who's going to help him one way to get. How else do you think that he's going to go about today, or going about the rest of the season to try and get this team to stay up?
West Brom about keeping them in it. I think, well, Grant's obviously a miss, isn't he? He's still injured. He's going to be out for a little bit. But again, there's a lot of those players that you look at haven't got much Premier League experience. So we all know what Sam Allardyce is about. He'll be wheeling and dealing, trying to get players out to free up money to come in, and looking at loan signings, using all his contacts. So Snodgrass is a proven Premier League player. He's got good set piece delivery. He showed that at Aston Villa. He showed that at West Ham. So that's what he'll be looking at. I think he'll be looking at other players like that to try and get down the spine of the team. Really wouldn't surprise me if an experienced striker came in. Charlie Austin's gone out, so he'll be looking, even in the European market, somewhere like that, another centre-half, I think. So, and maybe a midfielder. So I think he'll be looking for 3 or 4 additions, which he's shown every time he's been at Sunderland, Palace, whatever, that have that immediate impact. At Everton, he's done it as well. So yeah, I think he'll be looking for Premier League experience, short-term fix, set them up, hard to beat performances. They're a bonus. Results is what he'll do. And I expect them to be very, very dogged this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Albion anymore. They've had more than enough coverage on Wolves TV than they're ever going to have again. Let's be perfectly honest. Final one, Matty. What does your gut say today? What are you expecting?
Well, I was so looking forward to this fixture before Raul got injured, because I'm thinking, wow, we have definitely got the strongest team. We're considerably richer than Yao, and we can take it to them and give them a right doing. But, we're not in great form going into it. That old saying, form book goes out the window. I think it's going to be a tight game because of how I think Sam Allardyce was set up. But I do think Wolves are going to get back to keeping clean sheets, and I'm going to go for a Fabio Silva winner. 1-0, and the young man is going to really kickstart his career. So I hope so, because all my missus' family are Albion as well. So, so we need to win that.
I've just got visions of when fans are eventually let back in, and Matty has to go to the Hawthorns to work for Sky. He'll just be walking in like Conor McGregor, just giving it the ball. That's the dream.
His suit won't be as nice as Conor McGregor's, though, mate.
You know what? My Sky game's cancelled this afternoon. I haven't even shaved my head, so I'm looking at Keanes and Looms all nice and trim, looking at $1 million. I'm like, oh no, I haven't done the Barnet. Not that I've got many options, but
it's the right best, mate. It's the right best.
Hey, what, you got dressed in the dark as well this morning, big man. What's going on?
Hey. I was just rushing, man. You know what I mean? I've got to give you boys a chance now. On a serious note, whenever I do Sky for the Albion, they put me up in the corner where all their fans are that make all the noise. They always sing the Liquidator to me. I don't know why we can't sing the Liquidator, but they always do. So I need the boys to win. So next time I'm there, I'll be standing there and I'll swig me Wolves bottle of water, and I'll probably have to get escorted out the ground. But come on, we babbies, Come on.
Matty, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for your time. See you soon, my friend.
See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, mate. Matt Murray here on Wolves TV. We talked a little bit with John Goodman about what it's like to play for both. Of course, crossing the divide is something that Andy Thompson knows only too well. In that period of the late 80s, Tomo, you, Steve Bull, Robbie Dennison, Ali Robertson, and I remember talking to Ali Rob about this once, and he kind of said he desperately wanted to beat the Baggies. You boys had something to prove in that period.
Yeah, it was. So, look, I was a young lad, I said, 19-year-old lad who was playing in the first team at West Brom at the time, and just to be told that you're going to be released or you're going to be sold to your local rivals, even though, say, Wolverhampton was my club, it was a total surprise. Just come out the blue because I just went into training normally. But so things are happening. So like Albion didn't want me, Ron Saunders sold me and Bully, and the rest is history kind of thing you can think about. But look, it was great. I just had a feeling, even though the state of the club that it was in, so I had a feeling about the club that it was going to do really well under Graham Turner. And it turned out to be right, because it was the quickest decision I've probably made in my life to sign, coming from Albion. But as Don touched on there, so the ground was a mess. Everything was leaking. There was floods. There was everything you could think about was in the club, and the turnaround has been unbelievable.
Tomo, did that add to your hatred of the Albion?
Yes.
I was 6 years. I was at Albion, so I went there as a schoolboy at 13. Got picked up from playing for a Sunday League kids team, and when you're there, you think, oh, I'm going to go on. I made my debut at 17, and you're thinking, well, I've got a chance here. If I keep working hard and keep my head down, then I'm going to do well. I even moved to West Brom, and that's how bad it was, Carl. So I even moved to West Brom for a year and went in lodgings to just make sure I could focus on getting professional contract with West Brom. So it was just, that's what I sacrificed. I sacrificed absolutely everything to make it as a pro footballer. And again, it worked out for me. But again, when you go in there and things don't work out, you go to another club. That's football. And it was the best thing I ever did, is to come to Wolves.
Sometimes that spike can drive you as well, can't it?
It did. It did.
I'm going to show you.
With going there as well, I had a year as an apprentice, living in lodgings. And that was my own choice. I decided, because I could have travelled from home, but I decided I wanted to go there to give it the best effort. But yeah, it makes a big difference there, because you've got to look after yourself. I know you're in lodgings, but you still got to look after yourself. You've still got to do it right, and it was a massive step to do that at such an early age as well. Because I was only 16 when I did it,
and that element to it, Tomo, also drove Bully in many respects, because the famous comment where they always said that he didn't have a first touch. Well, the second used to end up in the back of the net. We all have seen the videos of that 1989 game in the last minute at the Hawthorns, where the limbs in the away end is incredible. Yeah.
Well, when he come to West Brom, I say he had a job at the time. He was working in the builder's yard. When he was scoring goals for Tipton, and then they brought him in. A scout called Sid Day brought him in. But yeah, so he was great. Look, he worked hard. So look, as he always did, he was somebody who was going to graft and work hard on the pitch, and he knew where the goal was. That was the main thing. Even though he had raw talent, he knew where the goal was. It didn't matter about his first touch or whatever. His next one was just smashing it at the goal. And most of his career, he did that. He knew instinctively where the goal was, and he knew where to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And like we had Nobby Stiles, Johnny Giles, Norman Hunter were our coaches at the time. So a mixed bag of variety there. Johnny Giles, who was an absolute brilliant. We had Norman Hunter. He said, if you get near you, I am going to kick you. And he was like that. So it was a great time for us. So and then me and Bully got decided. He was laughing at me when I left the changing rooms. Behold, that he was coming with me as well. So he didn't know until about 10, 15 minutes after that he was travelling with me as well.
Because this is the interesting element, Looms. We talked about Keames earlier, kind of feeling like he missed out on not being involved in this. How do you feel about it? Because when we look amongst our group here, only one has scored in a Black Country derby, and that's the little fella from the penalty spot, 1994, smashed it in the top corner, absolutely no saving it. What would you have felt like if you'd have got to score in a Black Country derby?
Well, actually, I scored against West Brom when I was on loan at Bristol City from Wolves. So, and I had the pleasure of doing that. I got absolutely abused from first minute to last from their fans. We beat them 3-1 down at Ashton Gate. So I've had the pleasure, but it's one of those things, even then for me, I knew how big it was when West Brom, I knew how big it was, a Wolves player scoring against West Brom, how big that was. So it's one of those things, as soon as you sign for Wolves, which is a huge club, you find out very quickly what the history is, who the enemies are, and it's one of them. So I've got butterflies in my stomach now. I can't wait. I wish I was there. I wish that it was the four of us just doing it from there, because just to see them come out and you feel that tension in the air. I'm going to be through here watching it on TV and feeling sick with every kick of the ball. And that's just part and parcel of it, You inherit that, and that's something that I hope the players will really buy into and take it out onto the pitch.
Just to add to that, I was at QPR and played West Brom. I got absolutely abused by all the West Brom fans, but we did end up winning 3-0, I think, so I was buzzing that. So but I understand what you're saying about being getting abused from minute one, because I played against Albion, but just not in the Wolves.
So when you were playing at Wolves, there was shouting at everybody. I went to Tranmere, and then all of a sudden, early on in the season, we got West Brom at the Hawthorns. And you got obscenities shouted at you left, right, and centre. I think there was a woman about 80 even swearing at me. I don't know what I mean. So that's how bad it was. So again, same as you, mate. We was fortunate enough that we won 2-0, but yeah. So you just think about what they think about the Wolves players actually going there. It's unbelievable.
Well, Tomo's derby record: 12 appearances, 5 wins, 4 draws. and just the 3 defeats, part of the glory era. Of course, hasn't quite been like that over the last 20 years or so. And our next guest, where it was involved in 5 derby appearances, 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 defeats, including the last one, which, let's just get it out the way, as Sylvan Ebanks-Blake is joining us. We don't want to talk too much about this. So we've talked a lot about Albion already. Let's get that out of it. And we just got to briefly mention, Sylvan, the last meeting, and then we'll move on and talk about how it's going to go. Welcome, by the way, to Wolves TV, Sylvan Ebanks-Blake. I hope you're good. What's your memory like of this?
Well, the last game I played in this, we actually got beat. I think it was 5-1, so not great memories, to be honest. And in my time of obviously at Wolves, we didn't play West Brom that much because we were in different leagues at different times. So, but look, it's a huge game, and I know the fans will be all over social media building up the game, and I know the manager would have told the players how big this is for a bigger derby this is for the West Midlands.
Just been talking to the boys. Go on, Looms. Because
so what would be going through your head in the dressing room now? Because it's one of those things, like you say, you were going through a period that we never really played against them too often, but you knew how much it was a massive match. Will that be the same that's in the dressing room today for our players today?
Yeah, I think so. I think with social media now, obviously with no fans in the ground, you're not getting that atmosphere from the fans. Yeah. But I think with the social media, all the players are on social media now. They'll know how big this game is. Like I said, both managers will reiterate how big this game is, and all the players will be up for it. And I think form sort of goes out the window. You see West Brom's position in the league, Wolves with some unfortunate results. I think all that form goes out the window. It's a derby game, and it's just about winning.
Go on, Kings.
Sorry, mate. What's happening, mate? You good? I feel like I should just be talking a normal conversation. We took that after. How would you assess Wolves' season so far? As to, like, some of the fans seem a bit disgruntled at the minute of that we're not top 6. But how would you see how Wolves are going on?
It's been mixed. It's been a funny season all round. I think it's been mixed. We've got to get over this conceding the first goal. I think that it makes it a harder game when you're always conceding first. I watched the Everton game. I thought they were unlucky. I thought Wolves were the better team for large parts, but unfortunate they concede a good goal from Everton. They concede the first goal, and it's harder to get back in the game then. So it's been a mixed season. We've definitely missed Jimenez. Got to be really patient with Silva. He's obviously got ability, but he's going to need time. And for me, it's been really mixed. It's been really mixed.
It's that element, though, isn't it? So, Looms was talking about it earlier, and Keane said it. Scoring goals is one of the hardest things to do, especially at Premier League level, and that's the element for Wolves today. If they can finally take those chances, then they'll put themselves in the driving seat.
Definitely, I think today for me, we need Wolves to score the first goal. I think it's so important they get the first goal in this game and kick on from there, because I think Wolves tend to start games a bit slow, and then they tend to pick up in the second half. I think if we could get the first goal today, we'll go on and win. But we've got to come out of the blocks fast. West Brom are fighting for their lives. They've got a decent manager in Sam Allardyce, who's got a very good record against Wolves for various different clubs. So for me, Wolves have got to score first, and they've got to insert their ability on West Brom and go on and win this game today.
Sylv, you obviously got to enjoy some massive moments, scoring the goal that clinches his promotion. You scored in other derby games. Would you trade any of it for a Black Country derby hat-trick?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But look, I mean, I only scored 1 hat-trick in my career, so that probably wouldn't have happened, mate. But I'd have taken a brace. I'll take the brace against West Brom any day. But we never played them. We always were in different leagues, never met in the cup competitions. And it was unfortunate, really. I never really got to play in many sort of West Brom Wolves derbies. It was just the one I think I played in. So, but look, I'd trade it for a brace, because that was more what I was about.
What's your gut saying? What's your prediction?
My prediction, honestly, I think 2-1 Wolves. I think 2-1 Wolves. I can see West Brom scoring just because Wolves have struggled to keep a clean sheet this season. So my gut says it's a Wolves win, but I'll go for 2-1.
Okay. Sylvain, really appreciate your time. Good to see you, my friend. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. All right, lads. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Thank you, mate. Sylvain Ebanks-Blake with us here on Matchday Live Extras. So we are last couple of minutes before the teams will head out. What will they be feeling in that dressing room? Tomo, what's going through the minds as they're in there now?
Well, so it's going to, hopefully you're feeling nervous coming out there. So like, and hopefully you're looking forward to the game more importantly. But if you haven't got nerves in a game like this, then there's a problem. So like you need to be nervous to go out. But once you get onto that pitch, everything goes out the window. You just focus on what you're doing. You try and make sure that the first thing that you do is the right thing. That's important. But again, that hopefully they'll be looking forward to the game. It's a massive game. It's a shame the fans aren't here. But so like it's that nervous energy that you've got when you want to go out and making sure that you try and get the right result, the right win, and the right performance.
The spin side of it is that usually a manager's responsibility is to try and calm the players down, to try and prepare as if it's any other match. So that's the positive side of it, that it is another match. It's a match that we should go out there and win. You know, the history and all that comes with it can sometimes put players over the top, and they can underachieve. So again, the positive side is that we both teams need a win, but with the quality that we have, we should go out here and win this match. And I think just prep for the match will be the same as any other match. And yeah, players have a responsibility. The likes of captain Conor Cody will say there's a little bit more importance in this match. But these players, these are big game players that we've got. They've played in some big derby matches. Just go out, play with that freedom, express yourself. There isn't an extra pressure that comes with it. It's another game of football at the end of the day, but we all know that it's more.
But I think the thing is, Looms, is that at times you've got a crowd in there, so that's why you're trying to call for calm, so no one does something stupid. But I think at this time, I feel like with Wolves, because of the results lately, I feel like the pressure's on anyway. So I think that's what adds to this game. That's what adds to the spice. I think the pressure's on Albion anyway, because they're fighting for their lives. And I think that will bring enough pressure to make this game a bit spicy anyway. But like you said, normally you'd be telling players to like calm, like nothing stupid. But I think today, that pressure is going to help us, because I do really feel like, I'm not saying we've been lax in any way, or we've gone out not giving 100%, because I always think we do, but sometimes that added bit of pressure just brings out the best in you, and I hope that does today.
Right, as a potentially good omen, Bully has already scored twice today by delivering some.
I saw your face. I saw your face.
Box that have come through that you might have been seeing past the Tomo there. Looms, I know you were incredibly proud that day that you were able to wear the captain's armband for this football club. It meant an awful lot to you. If you were the skipper now, if you were Conor Cody in that dressing room, give us that speech. What are we going to be saying?
Oh, it's like you say, go out there, you win that first tackle, you win that first header, you know, on the front foot, put them on their back foot, and you know what? Just be brave enough to get on the ball in tight areas, play the way that we know that we can. You know, high energy. You know, help your man next to you. Communication's key, which I think we do very well anyway. But everyone bring your A game. It's as simple as that. You be better than the man that you're up against, and then as a collective, we will be better. You know, it was a very emotional time for me, and obviously I got the 2 goals on the day we won. But it was a fantastic honour, and I know that Conor Cody, as a leader, as a player, he goes out there and he leads by example. But we've got leaders throughout, all over the pitch, and we need them all to step up today. You know, get on the ball, make things happen.
There's a lot of experience on that pitch today as well, isn't there, today? We have looked at times where we've been looking young, but with Saiz coming back in, Bali coming back in, there's a lot of experience, big game players today, and I'm sure I'd be saying keep it tight, but let's put the pressure on these boys today.
West Brom are on their way out, so prediction time. Very quickly.
Sorry, I was acting like I was in the crowd.
Lost his 1-0 as well, isn't he?
I'm going 3-0. I am. I'm going 3-0 Wolves. I really fancy us today. I feel like we're going to score as well, and I think it's about time that Albion got some of the medicine that they've fed to us over the recent times.
Looms,
I'm going 2-0. I'm going 2-0, and Tom was going to go 1-0, and then it's game on.
1-0's gone, Looms. 1-0's gone already. That's had it. I'm gonna go with you, Looms. I'm going 2-0. I'm going 2-0 to the Wolves.
3-1.
What?
Come on. 3-1.
Derby Day's got the most of him.
He's gone. He's been sucked in. He's been sucked in. Mikey's gone.
Right, thank you very much. More from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo at half-time. Do not go anywhere, because the 161st Black Country Derby is next.
Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
We can't welcome you to the Wolves megastore at the moment, but our online store is available 24/7. Visit shop.wolves.co.uk for huge savings on replica kits, training wear and exclusive Wolves clothing ranges.
The Old Gold Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from League One, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Gold Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Wolves TV, the home of live uninterrupted radio commentary of every single Wolves game.
Here it is! Oh, you beauty!
But that's not all. Wolves TV also brings you extended and alternative match highlights, interviews with the team, behind-the-scenes features and training coverage, plus see every goal Wolves score from every angle.
The volley over the goal! That is simply stunning!
So check out Wolves TV online. Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Well, the wait is over. The 161st Black Country Derby, separated by 17 miles, 14 points and 5 places. Wolves and West Brom take the field again. 9 years since the last meeting. In that time between them, they've had 3 relegations, 3 promotions and 15 managers. Both sides struggling for form. Wolves with just 1 win in the last 8. Albion with just 1 league win all season. But Derby Day is never about form or expectation. Invariably, it's about hope, belief, and bragging rights. A chance to banish bad memories, to write their names into folklore. Match winners can become immortal. We are nearly ready to go. Albion will get us started, and we are underway in the Black Country Derby at Molineux. The sun has been shining most of the morning, just a little bit of cloud above us right now. Wolves in their gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks, defending the Sir Jack Hayward South Bank away to our right-hand side. And it's always at this time of year that we especially remember the contribution he made as Moutinho goes closing in on Darrell O'Shea early, giving West Brom a throw deep inside the Wolves half on the right-hand side. Albion in their traditional striped shirts, white shorts, and navy blue socks, and O'Shea to launch the ball into the Wolves penalty area, and it's a flick on dangerously, and it will bounce into the arms of Rui Patricio. It's in the Wolves goal. Back four of Semedo, Bolly, Cody and Saiz. A midfield of Dendoncker, Neves and Moutinho, Traore, Fabio Silva and Neto, the attacking 3. For Albion, it's Button in goal, Dara O'Shea, Kyle Bartley, Samir J and Kieran Gibbs, the back four. Robert Snodgrass, Romain Sawyers, Mateus Pereira, Jake Livermore and Kamil Grzycki, with Callum Robinson, their most advanced man up top.
Yeah, you're just watching the back four you thought they would be with Wolves. So Moutinho, Neves, and then Donker in that midfield area, and then you got three lads up front. But again, it's you can see that Albion have set up the way they are. That you spoke about Robinson, he's going to be the lone striker up there, but he's going to be supported by a couple of lads in midfield, and just got to make sure that we don't give him too much time and space.
Cody trying to hit a big diagonal towards Traore. I think it just came off the head of Grzycki and will be a Wolves throw about 10 yards over the halfway line in front of the Steve Bull stand. A man, of course, who arrived at Wolves from the Baggies with Tomo and made his name scoring on big derby occasions. He's already predicted to me it's going to be 4-0 today.
Oh, he's already told you. I was just about to say he's confident today. He fancies 4-0.
He's buzzing, as many of you will be wherever you are. There's a good ball down the line by Saiss. Moutinho making a good run, just being forced backwards a little bit. Saiss arriving in support, played it off Snodgrass, but it will be given as a West Brom throw.
I'm just thinking, I know it's rebounds off both players, but I thought the last touch, I thought it was already out before it hit Saiss.
The floodlights are on the far side, not at quite full strength just yet, but there's a little bit of a fluttering breeze. It's only a touch behind Wolves. As Dendoncker plays it forwards, Fabio Silva challenges. Dendoncker couldn't quite get to the loose ball. Grzycki and Neves challenged. Bolly will beat Robinson to it and set Semedo away down the right-hand side to the midway point of the Albion half, and continuing on his run here, Semedo, and now trying to fizz his cross in, and he got too much on it. And it goes behind, but it will be a corner.
It's a corner.
Deflection off it.
Didn't look it, did he say? He just thought like Semedo had just got too much on it, but the referee was clear that it was a corner, so he must have had a touch off one of the, just off his shin maybe. I think it was Gibbs.
I'm not so sure it should have been, but there you go. Moutinho with the corner, right-footed from the left-hand side. Neto is out there with him. Dendoncker, Fabio Silva and Saiss waiting to run from beyond the penalty spot, and Bolly is right on the far side of the penalty area. Moutinho with both arms in the air. Traore inside the 6-yard box. It goes in towards the edge of the box and headed away. Neves will try and put it back into the danger zone. Deflection on the edge of the area. Bolly stretched the right leg out on his left foot, striking it low. It was not a bad effort from Big Willie Bolly. What a story that could have been on his return.
Yeah, that would have been some story, wouldn't it? It's basically his first touch to open up the scoring. He hit it pretty well. Had the keeper crawling for it. Button. What do you say? You've got both hands on it. But again, so promising start.
He's been missing since the win over Chelsea.
Yeah, and he's been a big loss as well for me. I think that he's instrumental to everything that we do.
Neto trying to play it down the line. Couldn't quite keep it in front of the Albion technical area. Nuno pacing around his. It's Sammy Lee, or Little Sam, who has got the job to do that for Albion. Big Sam stood in the dugout. Born in Dudley, supposedly grew up a Wolves fan. Oh, that's an awkward header back by Dendoncker, and Cody getting there ahead of Robinson, nodding it back to Patricio.
I'll tell you what, it's a good job that Connor Cody reads the game really well. He was never getting there from Dendoncker, but Connor Cody knew it was going to be short and was able just to get there just a fraction just before Robinson, I think it was, and just head it back to Patricio. But he can't afford to be doing things like that and giving opportunity to West Brom to.
So he's back to Cody, to Patricio on the edge of his 6-yard box. West Brom prepared to press high. Patricio clearing forwards. Neto getting control of it under real pressure from a couple of challenges, and he will have to settle for the throw just behind, midway inside his own half.
Yeah, it's a great touch from Neto, wasn't it? Salah defender right on his back as well. Just took the ball in. It was hit pretty sharp by Patricio.
Andy Johns watching in Amsterdam, Dutch TV with the sound off, listening to us. Rob Knight, 5:30 a.m. and -2 degrees in Calgary. He says, but it's Albion, bragging rights and 3 points at stake. His brother is a Baggies fan.
That's a nice atmosphere in the household, isn't it?
Says, absolutely do not care how it happens, just want the win and my heart to calm down. Livermore chasing a deep one inside the Wolves half. Cody back in front of him, right by his left-hand corner flag. Did well to try and dig it out. Snodgrass missed control, but got there ahead of Neto. Ball's going to rebound in field to remain Sawyers. Switched out to the left-hand side for Grzycki. He's got Gibbs racing up on the overlap. Grzycki will cross it left-footed to the far post, and it needed Saiss to defend it. And he did really well to get a touch on it with Snodgrass closing in behind him. Not the best of clearances, though. Neves going into challenge. Ball's going to come out to Sawyers. Grzycki on the edge of the area, teeing it up on his right foot. Little deflection. Cody with a block on the penalty spot and passing out to the feet of Adama Traore. He tried to get away from a couple of challenges. Looked like he was caught. Albion have it back. They work it up to the edge of the area through Robinson again. He was caught late by Bolly, and that might be a penalty, you know.
I think it is.
It is a penalty to West Bromwich Albion after less than 7 minutes played.
Oh,
dangerous challenge right on the edge of the area. Bolly thought he could win it. He didn't get there in time, and Albion have a chance to get themselves an early lead. Now, is it inside the area or not?
I think it might be just out.
VAR will check it. It's right on the edge.
Yeah, it's just. I think it's just out. He's not on the line. I don't think he's actually on the line. I think he's just out. Oh, it's close though.
There's no doubt that he catches him.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that it's a foul. It was rash from Willy Bolly. The only question mark is whether it is inside the penalty area or out.
He's just lunged, doesn't he? Bolly just tried to nick it. Oh.
It was worked up to Robinson. Bolly came out. And they are going to place the ball, and they are going to give it as a penalty.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprise. The ball wasn't in the box, and Robinson wasn't in the box.
Well, they must have thought that there was some kind of contact with it on the line or something, because on the line is a penalty.
Mateus Pereira against Rui Patricio. Pereira to step up, left-footed, and he sends Patricio the wrong way, and Albion lead on Derby Day.
Well, there we go again, though. We're conceding an early goal. We're conceding the first goal. Yeah. That's not the start that you want, is it?
We talked about individual mistakes before the game. Nuno talked about it in his pre-match press conference, and Willy Bolly on his return with a rash challenge gave Albion that penalty. And Pereira stepped up and made no mistake.
But it's come out of nothing, though, isn't it? We talk about, like, say, fine margins and decisions. It's come out of nothing. Say it wasn't a real thing. It's just a lunge that's ended up catching one of the players. And we know nowadays about players going down with any kind of contact at all. But you can't afford to do it. You just cannot do it. And again, the chasing the game again. I know there's plenty of time, but 1-0 down early on again.
Well, you talk about the character. And you find out a lot about players in circumstances under which Wolves have been recently. And we are going to learn an awful lot about this group right now. Saiss running it forwards. Darrow Shea intercepting. Neto got a touch to it. Fabio Silva is going to win Wolves a free kick in a very dangerous position. A couple of yards outside the penalty area to the left of centre. And an immediate chance for Ruben Neves, maybe, who looked like he was refinding his range and form the other night.
Yeah. Well, he had that goal, didn't he? And also as well, he hit the woodwork or the frame.
Now he hit a beautiful free kick.
Yeah. Just needs to be a fraction lower, doesn't it?
Scored 2 in 2 in the Premier League. This is his big moment to make it 3 in 3. 4-man wall. Button has moved over to the far side of the goal, the right-hand side as you look towards it. Ruben Neves staring at the ball, couple of short steps, steps up, hits the top of the wall, deflects out. Semedo will try and get a touch to it. Helped on its way to Traore, who looked like he was caught. He got the ball back in field to Semedo, wide again to Traore. 3 players in and around him as he goes to the byline. Low cross into the near post, and just anywhere will do to get it away for West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah, the only problem that you've got now is West Brom have got that lead, got that goal. They're just going to sit in. They're not going to come out anywhere. They're not going to leave any space at the back. And as you touched on there, they had 3 players around Traore. And I think that's going to be something that they're going to look at now.
Semedo being forced to play it all the way back. Rui Patricio out of his penalty area. Connor Cody taking over. Midway inside the Wolves half. Neves dropping deep to pick up the ball. Plays it to Bolly. A couple of yards short of halfway to Semedo on the touchline. Matinho for Dendoncker. Back to Matinho. had to stretch to get there ahead of Livermore. Cody whipping it to the left-hand side to Saiz. Infield to Neto, to Neves. Back into his own half to Cody. Cody under a bit of pressure, having to dribble over the halfway line. Found Fabio Silva. Back to Moutinho in the centre circle. You're going to see an awful lot of this. Wolves having the ball. Do they have the quality to unlock the West Bromwich Albion defence?
Well, they've got the players to do it. So, look, it's just a matter about putting it together and making sure that they try and do, because you can see already West Brom are in no rush to come out from that back.
Neto on the left-hand side. Saiz had gone on the overlap. Neto will play it to him now. Saiz with the first-time delivery. That's a comfortable take for the keeper on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, it's got to be better in there, hasn't it? So it's a good setup from Neto, just setting up Saiz down this left-hand side. But you can't afford to keep putting it to the keeper's hands, because that takes all the pressure off West Brom altogether.
Button will launch it downfield. Just about 12 minutes played at Molineux. Wolves 0, Albion 1. O'Shea, the right back, playing it down the line. Cody there first. A little ball infield to Saiz. Under pressure, goes back to Patricio. We'll lay it outside the penalty area to Bolly. 10 yards further forwards to Neves. Turning and looking downfield. Not a lot on. So goes infield to Moutinho. Moutinho to his left-hand side to Cody. Cody wanted to go right. Instead has to go left to Neto, just over the halfway line. Saiz trying to play it. Oh, it's a good first-time ball. Neto, can he get this under control and deliver it into the penalty area? Not a bad ball in, and it needed a big header, and Fabio Silva will challenge the keeper, who's dropped it. And Button eventually dives down on the loose ball inside his 6-yard box. Kyle Bartley is fuming at his teammates.
Yeah, I think he's having a go at O'Shea, I think, on the right back. You're getting caught with a little 1-2 there.
Oh, is that handball by Kieran Gibbs there as Button palmed the ball down on him? I can only imagine that Michael Oliver would have given a foul against Fabio Silva anyway.
Well, it's not a foul. He's just standing there, isn't he? He hasn't moved, he hasn't jumped, he hasn't done anything. So I don't see how it can be a foul, but I know what you mean. They probably will give a foul on it.
Dendoncker for Traore. Midway inside the Albion half, driving forwards. Infield to Dendoncker. It's the penalty area, smashes it and couldn't get it on target. It sat up nicely for him.
Oh, that's a massive, massive chance. Like you said there, it's just sat up lovely for him, hasn't it? Got to hit the target.
Well, again, we're getting a replay of this Kieran Gibbs handball. Fabio Silva stands there, Button punches it, and it just hits him on the hand, and his hands are up.
That's got to be handball. I was going to say, I think I've just heard somebody else say, how's VAR not given that?
His arms are in an unnatural position. His hands are in front of his chest. That's another little bit of controversy. Here's Fabio Silva putting some pressure on Ajay. He's done well to win the ball and trying to switch it to Traore. Semedo racing up. Traore in towards Dendoncker. Back to Traore again. Now looking to strike it. It was a good strike. It was saved low down to the left-hand side of David Button.
Well, already we've had 3 or 4 efforts at goal. So 2 of them testing the keeper. But again, so you just got to keep going. Just have that belief, and I'm sure they will.
They're going to pull it back for a foul by Moutinho on Sawyers. Well, Wolves fans' relationship with VAR is strained at the best of times, but when the replays appear to show the penalty should have been a free kick on the edge of the box, and then what looked like a clear handball, didn't go back and check that either.
No, and again, I talk about consistency. Surely that should be something that they need to look at, and they need to be make an assumption for. If they're giving the penalty against us, surely that's got to be one for us.
To use that anger and fire and adapt it into taking the game to West Brom. It's been a decent reaction to going behind. Also created some good chances already. Got to hope that continues as Neto goes charging forwards. Cross came Snodgrass with the challenge. Cody for Saiz, playing it all the way back. By all accounts, according to Chris Iwelumo watching it from home, VAR's had a look at the handball and decided no pen.
I just don't get these decisions. Again, they're saying that VAR is something that's helping the referees. But it all comes down to an opinion again, doesn't it? And you might as well give the opinion of the referee then, if you're going to do that.
Dendoncker for Fabio Silva. Out to the right-hand side to Traore. Midway inside the Albion half. Looking to run at Gibbs. Being in for pace on the outside. Hangs his cross up. Dendoncker's header goalwards. Couldn't quite get enough power and direction behind it. He was hovering in the air for quite a while. It was a fair old distance out. Just couldn't quite get enough in the old neck muscles to challenge Button.
Yeah, it was just a fraction high for him, wasn't it? He just couldn't get anything of any power on it. You're looking at him there. It's a good jump from him, but unfortunately, the power and the direction was just missing on it. But again, they're creating opportunities. They're getting behind West Brom, and that'll be something that they're looking for.
Here comes Robinson at the other end into the penalty area, trying to pull it back to the edge of the box, and Ruben Neves is there to tidy things up. Wolves to try and get things moving. Dendoncker closed down by Sawyers. Look to switch the play. Here is Martinho to the left-hand side to Neto. Infield to the feet of Fabio Silva. Trying to wriggle his way past a couple of challenges, trying to hold things up, and he finds Dendoncker. And Dendoncker to strike from distance, stung the palms of Button. Straight at him in the end. And it was a rasping effort from the Belgian.
I'll tell you what I've been happy with already. I know I'm not happy about the conceding of the goal, but shooting from distance. Now that's about 4 or 5 opportunities that we've had. And I think that each time, well, 3 or 4 of them have actually tested the keeper. So that's a promising thing what we're looking at.
Yeah, Wolves already at 75% possession and 5 shots to Albion's 2. One of those for Albion was the penalty, so Wolves may be trailing, but they will have to feel that this kind of domination, were it to continue, would see them turn things round. Grzycki trying to get first the loose ball. Pereira up towards the edge of the area, trying to strike it low, and Patricio well behind it.
Yeah, that's what they need to be careful of, that don't make mistakes like that and give away the ball in those areas.
Well, if you are looking for an omen, the under-23s against Albion a couple of weeks ago were twice behind in the first half and came back storming in the second to win the game comfortably. Here is Jean Martinho on halfway. Forwards towards Dendoncker, let it run past his body, leaves it for Traore on the touchline. 25 yards from goal. Traore again rampaging forwards, lifts his cross in, but it's behind for an Albion goal kick.
Yeah. So again, it's just something that we're going to have to try and utilise. So like our wide players, Traore and Neto, already they've both been trying to get into the game. Dendoncker's been getting into the box.
Yeah, that's why. Interesting, Pedro Neto's positioning there, where he was kind of offering himself to Traore short, and you kind of feel like, especially coming from that left-hand side, he needs to maybe stay there a little bit more and be an extra body in the box arriving late.
Well, you want to try and make Albion think and have a look where you are, and also as well make the pitch as big as possible to make it difficult for Albion to pick up. Oh.
Grzycki slipped, but was able to get to his feet before Semedo could reach it. Tracked him all the way back into his own half and back to Button. Under pressure from Fabio Silva, launches forwards. Ollie actually headed that onto the back of Neves' head. Traore down for Dendoncker. Finding Neves, or Neves losing his footing. And Albion looking to benefit. Pereira trying to run down the left-hand side up against Bolly. Shape to get the cross in. Instead plays it back to Grzycki. Down the line again for Pereira. We'll use support from Grzycki once more. And then trying to work his way down the left, trying to pull it to the edge of the box. Neto there first, clearing forwards only as far as Sawyers. Pereira taking over again. Grzycki on the left-hand side, on his right foot though. Laying the ball in field. Trying to get some room to try and deliver in. In the end, there was a block in there. And the clearance up towards halfway that Bartley will get there ahead of Fabio Silva and play back to Button. Just over 20 minutes played at Molineux. Still, Wolves 0, Albion 1. Ajayi falls to Robinson. It's a big frame of Semi Ajayi. Closed down by Neto, goes back to Button. Albion's longest spell of possession of the game so far. They find themselves in front. Gibbs back to Livermore, all the way back to Button on the penalty spot, looking to play it high out to the right-hand side. Saiz challenging with O'Shea. It will be a West Brom throw. And the Baggies have weathered the storm somewhat.
Well, they have. So look, and we talk about scoring goals, and I know we created some, but we've got to make sure that we try and get those opportunities and convert them. That's the thing. You can't keep missing chances. As you say about Albion, they've only won one game this year, but if you're going to give them opportunities to get away with it, with missing goal-scoring chances, then it's going to be easier for them.
Talk about refereeing and VAR. Michael Oliver was the ref at Arsenal when he didn't award Adama Traore a penalty in that game.
Well, that's not good. No. Already he's made 2 dubious decisions.
There's Ajayi playing it back to Button. David Coote is on VAR for this lunchtime game. Big high ball that O'Shea heads on. Snodgrass infield. Neves missed it. Robinson back to Sawyers. Across the centre circle for Bartley. Up again towards the edge of the box, and Bolly with a foot in. David Coote, by the way, on VAR, was also the man who didn't give Fabio Silva a penalty against Spurs here.
I'll tell you what, your news gets better and better, doesn't it?
Saiz. I guess you could say if they're going to turn this round, they're going to have to do it themselves.
Yeah, they can't just rely on VAR to make decisions for them. Got to go out there and take it to West Brom.
Traore on the right-hand side, back into his own half to Neves.
Just looking at that as well, whenever Traore gets the ball, he's got 3 around him. They're trying to block that line off, but again, we saw him with that goal against Palace where he's gone inside. I think the timing of the pass to Traore is going to be important, that we need to just get it to him a little bit early, or earlier.
Here is Traore on halfway, on the turn, looking to run across the centre circle, was just caught by Kieran Gibbs. Albion again continuing to press high and even pressing Neves and Moutinho when they drop into wider areas, and it's not allowing Wolves to be able to pick their passes forwards. But if they can beat that high press, they do have the kind of speedy players to capitalise. There's Semedo, infield to Moutinho, just to the right of the centre circle, low across it for Cody. Cody looking up, trying to dink it forwards for the run of Dendoncker, who flicks it on towards Traore, right-hand side of the penalty area. Adama Traore cutting infield on his left foot, striking. It was blocked. It will rebound out to the touchline. Semedo will keep it in. Semedo trying to get some room to get the cross in. Foot there by Grzycki. It'll be a Wolves corner. 24.5 minutes played.
Yeah, they need to start to put their stamp on the game a little bit more now as well. So look, Albion have had a little bit of possession. Well, too much for me. We've got to try and get that possession, but it's got to be in the right areas. I think that we've got to try and get into that top third a lot more and try and create the opportunities. We've had a few chances on goal.
Neto to take the corner, left-footed from the right-hand side. Moutinho is out there with him. Bolly trying to hide behind Saiz, who's trying to hide behind Dendoncker at the minute. Traore is getting involved with Snodgrass as it goes in towards the far post, and it was an Albion head that put it behind for another Wolves corner. Bartley, the first man to it.
Yeah, I think Bartley's the one who couldn't take it. There were 2 Wolves players around him. Didn't want to take any chances.
Saiz and Fabio Silva were coming round. I don't think either of them would have actually reached it. Neto and Moutinho trotting over from right to left in front of the Stankolis North Bank. 2 players have had to come out with them, Grzycki and Pereira. Moutinho again, 2 arms in the air. Bolly is very deep as this one goes in towards the near post, and again it comes off an Albion head, and it will be a 3rd corner in quick succession. They are knocking on the door here.
That's what they've got to keep doing. They've got to try and put that pressure on them. Sooner or later, if you keep having opportunities, something's going to give. But it's all about the quality of putting the quality in there, making them defend. Don't make it easy for them.
Neto, left-footed from the right-hand side this time. Looking to whip it in towards the near post. Saïd's got a touch on it. Traoré trying to get something to drop for him. Wouldn't quite do so. And Albion managing to clear it out up towards the halfway line. Semedo challenging. Ball drops to Moutinho. Will feed it out to the right-hand side to Neto. Neto now running up towards the right-hand side of the penalty. Low one into the near post. Bolly's touch. Couldn't quite get it on target. Would have been some finish from Willy Bolly.
It would have been. So again, it's all come from Neto being positive down the right-hand side this time. Just going on the outside, right foot, put a great ball in. It's just unfortunate, isn't he, Bolly? You can see he's just trying to backheel it in. Again, we talk about fine margins, and he's just away from it, didn't he? He just got probably too much contact on it, then too little.
What a strange day he's having, Willy Bolly, on his return. Two of the best chances to score.
Yeah.
Overweighed the penalty at the other end that sees his team behind. Ruben Neves into the Albion half, headed away by Bartley. Snodgrass flicking on. Bolly will send it deep into the Albion half again. Fabio Silva to challenge. Second ball's going to drop to Dendoncker. Clever header to Neto. Infield to Neves, centre of the half. Out to the right-hand side to Semedo, who's a little bit behind him. We'll play it back to Neves, again to Semedo. Out on that right-hand side, a couple of yards in from the touchline. Just manages to keep hold of the ball. 3 Albion players in and around him. He's managed to dig out a cross, but again, it's too close to the keeper.
Yeah.
And Button came and got there ahead of Fabio Silva.
Yeah, he did well initially just to get the cross in there. But as I mentioned before, so he's got to try and keep it away from the keeper.
There's Pereira on halfway, turning with Jean Moutinho at his back. Sawyers to Livermore at the base of the centre circle. Into the Wolves half to Callum Robinson. Out to the left-hand side to Grzycki. Closed down by Semedo. Goes backwards to Gibbs. Infield to Livermore. Sawyers has passed that straight to Semedo. Now to Neves. Needs Michael Oliver to get out of his way.
I was going to say, a couple of times he's been in the way, and he's one of our most experienced referees. Needs to move.
Here's Neto. Forwards to the feet of Fabio Silva. Oh, Silva, was he caught there by Snodgrass? He went over.
Oh.
Michael Oliver shook his head.
I thought the contact on the ball there. I know it hates me to say it, but I think that Snodgrass actually won the ball.
It was a strong challenge.
Yeah,
Fabio Silva is back up.
Yeah.
There is Darochet to Pereira. Sawyers just inside his own half to the right of the centre circle. Trying to find the fear Pereira. Bolly read it and intercepted. Fabio Silva leaving it for Moutinho. Back to Cody. Go inside the half to the left of centre. Out to Saïd, the left back. Forwards over halfway to Neto. And to come back into his own half though. Now to Cody. Trying to thread it towards Dendoncker. It was read by Livermore, and now Pereira to try and carry it forwards. He passes it straight to Semedo, who lost his footing for a second. Dendoncker first to it in midfield. Moutinho to the left-hand side to Saïd. Saïd wanted to play that off Snodgrass for a throw, and it stayed in, and Snodgrass finding Sawyers. And now Saïd's out of position as Pereira pulls out to the right-hand side. Just getting back into it now, the Moroccan. Pereira's ball hits Moutinho, picked up by Livermore. Albion have very much come back into it. Possession is back to 66-34.
Yeah, they've had a little bit more possession than you'd want them to. So, like, again, if you're giving them that much possession, you know that you're not going to do any damage to them.
O'Shea for Sawyers.
Yeah.
Oh, Snodgrass buying a free kick, and Saïd kicks the ball away in frustration. Just stood there, Robert Snodgrass, and just fell to the floor, really.
That's what I'm saying. You would think by now these referees who've watched enough games and refereed enough games that they know when somebody's just going to ground with no real contact on them. You'd think that you would think that they know better now.
Pereira to launch is the far side of the box. Ajay with a header down. Grzycki's header forwards. Robinson. Big save by Rui Patricio. The flag may have gone up anyway had it gone in. But Patricio didn't know that and had to make sure
Tell you what, led off. I don't know if the flag would have gone up. So the assistant referee just looking on this side, never really moved to put his flag up. But again, you might have done in hindsight. But again, a chance for Albion.
There's Matinho. So it's a little warning sign.
That's the saying, you can't afford to switch off. So form goes out the window.
Semedo, Dendoncker. Semedo's been taken out off the ball, and Wolves will get the free kick for it. Midway inside the half to the right of centre as you look towards goal. Get a replay of that Albion chance now. Jay is headed down. Grzycki's headed forwards.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he was onside.
He was onside.
So it needed Rui Patricio to make that stop.
Yeah, well, he said there, he didn't know that it would have been offside anyway. He's gone out there and saved it. Good save from Patricio.
Matinho to whip this one in, headed away by Livermore. Will come to Traore midway inside the half. Back to Connor Cody inside the centre circle. Now to Jean Matinho. Wide to Neves on the left. Into the centre circle to Bolly. Bolly fizzed it into Traore, who did really well to control it. Trying to skip away from a couple of challenges. Eventually there was a foot in. And here comes Snodgrass over the halfway line for Albion. Flicking it forwards for the run of Livermore to Grzycki. Grzycki trying to hit it from distance over the top of the crossbar.
I just think at the minute we're our own worst enemies. So we're giving away the ball and it's giving Albion a confidence to actually push forward. Can't afford to make silly mistakes like that. Unpressured as well.
33 minutes played. Wolves 0, Albion 1 on Black Country Derby Day. First for 9 years. Dendoncker finding Saiz. Infield to Jean Matinho. Now for Neves. To Matinho again. Bolly controlling it on the thigh. Finding Semedo, who can carry it up towards the halfway line and over it. Infield to Jean Matinho. Bolly back to Cody. Now here's Neto trying to drive and lifting it in towards Fabio Silva. Cross came Bartley, headed it to the right hand side of the box, and O'Shea getting it clear anywhere will do.
See, that for me, that's a lot better. So look, at least you're putting pressure and making Albion defend and making them think about what they're going to have to do.
Saiz with the ball in hand. He's got Fabio Silva down the line. Matinho coming short. Back to remain Saiz, lifting it infield. Semedo down to Neves. Back to Willy Bolly, base of the centre circle. To his left-hand side to Cody. Now Jean Matinho. Back to Bolly under pressure from Robinson. All the way back to Patricio. Now Ruben Neves taking over. To his left-hand side to Jean Matinho. A lot for Nuno to be thinking about as we head towards the final 10 minutes before half-time. Or Neto with a heavy touch, and Snodgrass with the nutmeg and trying to set Pereira away down the right-hand side up against Cody. Skipping infield away from him. On to Snodgrass again, right-hand side of the box. Bolly tracked him well, blocked his shot, and will prevent it from going behind for a corner.
Well, there you go. There's another example of what I'm talking about. Individual mistakes. Again, Neto, who's usually that reliable with his touch, bit too hard with it, giving the ball away to Snodgrass. And all of a sudden, West Brom are having an opportunity at the Wolves' goal.
O'Shea ready to launch in a long throw from the right-hand side. Lifted into the Wolves' penalty area. Neves with the header away. Pereira playing it backwards to Bartley, just inside the Wolves' half, trying to lift it. Falls up towards the edge of the box. Semedo and Traore jumped at each other, really, and the ball drops to Grzycki. Back here for Livermore. Pereira, foot in by Neves, good foot in. Dendoncker now for Matinho. Forwards over halfway to Dendoncker, and a crude pull back by Ajayi.
Booking, I think.
And he will find his way into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, he can hold his hands out, Ajayi, but Again, if you're pulling somebody back, it's always going to be a booking. Yeah, he's just put his arm around him, hasn't he? Enjoy.
Here is Semedo on the right-hand side to Traore. Back to Semedo. Dendoncker for Semedo again. Moutinho to Bolly in the centre circle. Across it to the left-hand side to Neves. Neves running into a central point in the Albion half and trying to switch it to the right-hand side. It was sold a bit short. Foot by Grzycki. Sending it out of play.
Well, just got to try and lift up the game a little bit. You've got to have to try and push West Brom now. At the minute, I think they're finding it pretty comfortable at the moment. We knew they would sit in. They knew they had something to defend once they got that first goal. Got to try and test them now. Created chances earlier on. Just got to try and get a few more.
Saiss on down the left-hand side for Neto. Cutting back in field from one challenge and he'll win the free kick.
Yeah.
Snodgrass caught him. There was support there in the form of Romain Sawyers.
Yeah, I think he's just caught him as he just turned back though. Yeah, so you just saw that there. Snodgrass.
Bolly and Saiss joined Dendoncker and Fabio Silva in the Albion penalty area.
Yeah.
Neto and Moutinho stood over the ball. Just over 10 yards from the left-hand corner flag. A couple of yards from the edge of the box as you look towards goal. Moutinho moving away. It'll be the outswinger of Pedro Neto. 37.5 minutes played. Two-man wall blocking a route to the near post. Neto will just try and lift it in there. Oh, Bolly was close to reaching it. Comes all the way through to Saiss. Left-footed, trying to turn it back high towards the far post. Fabio Silva tried to bring it down. It comes through to Bolly, who backheels it. Fabio Silva turns it home!
Oh,
and Wolves are back on level terms. What a clever little touch by Willy Bolly. And Fabio Silva gets his first Wolves senior goal from open play. His first goal at Molineux. It will mean so much to him.
Yeah, he will. I think the composure that he showed, considering he's missed a few opportunities in games, unbelievable for an 18-year-old. Bolly did absolutely brilliant, though. It's a nice little outer, but the composure from him when he's just laid to him, he did really well initially to chest it down. Bolly there. Oh, yeah, he's onside because the lad's on the ground.
Yeah, Pereira on the floor, plays him on.
Yeah, he's on the ground, isn't he, Pereira? So there's no. I'll tell you what, he did really well there, just to muscle the defender out the way. Is it O'Shea? Just eased him out the way, just to open up the space for him. Great little back heel from Bolly. Yeah, that initial there, just watching it again. Good composure as well, good finish. I'm pleased for him. He needs to get his name on there, on the score sheet. And he has, against the Albion.
Wolves 1, Albion 1. He joins an illustrious club to score against the Baggies.
But that's giving him confidence. That should give him confidence as well now. Actually, open play, scoring a goal. I know he's had that penalty.
Here's Adama Traore on the right-hand side, trying to cut in field here, driving up to the edge of the box onto Semedo. Low one across the penalty area.
Have a gamble.
Fabio Silva and Dendoncker were in there.
Just needed to have a gamble, didn't they? Just tried to expect the player, Semedo, to get the actual ball. They were just waiting. Simple tap in there if they've had a little bit of a gamble to get there.
Here is Dendoncker, back to Saiss on the left-hand side. Couldn't quite keep it in. Great shout from our producer, Yanni. We're talking about a bit of Sylvan Ebanks-Blake about that goal. The way he held up his man and calmly stroked it into the corner. Sylvan, part of our build-up coverage. Make sure you tune in. 45 minutes before kickoff, every first-team game. Matchday Live Extra is with you. Wolves 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. 5 minutes to go until half-time. Wolves dominating possession. Can they go on now, having recovered from that early penalty given away by Willy Bolly on his return?
Just got to keep playing the way they have in this first half, apart from making those little silly mistakes and giving Albion chances.
because they've dominated the game. They've had the best chances. They've created chances.
Here's Ruben Neves trying to flick one into the penalty area. Headed away by Livermore. Moutinho nodding it back to the halfway line. Semedo collecting. Robinson in front of him. He'll go back to Conor Cody. And what an afternoon. Lunchtime Willy Bolly is having.
It's a great bit of skill from him, wasn't it?
Giving away a penalty, assisted a goal, and had 2 really good opportunities.
A mixed bag on the day. And that's only in the first half. Might even get himself on the score sheet in the second half.
Here's Neto on the left-hand side, in towards Fabio Silva. Tried to set it back for Neto. Foot in by Sawyers. Went to Moutinho, though. Semedo to his right, to Dendoncker, out to Traore. Traore with 2 in front of him, but he's going to go on the outside and beat them comfortably. And into the penalty area, still goes Traore. And it needed another challenge to come across, and Wolves get the corner. And that is the devastating effectiveness that Adama Traore can provide.
I'll tell you what, so look, you just watch him. It's absolutely great to see, isn't it? He can just coast past players so easily. And that's what we want to see from him. We want to see that a lot more from him, because when he does it, so like, nobody can even get near him.
Moutinho's going to take this corner right-footed from the right-hand side, so a change from the in-swingers to the out-swingers. 4 waiting to run, and Traore in the 6-yard box. They've committed men forwards. Moutinho to lift it in towards the near post. It's going to bounce away. Bolly! Oh, what a game he's having! Willy Bolly stabs the ball home. Bolly is back, and he's scoring against the Baggies. It's Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. The turnaround.
Yeah, what was I just saying moments before about getting the goal in the second half? Forget that. You can have it in the first half. So a bit of a scramble in the box there. Just watching again the replay. It's just come off of West Brom. Ajayi, I think it is. It's just come off and it's just fell to Bolly, lovely. And again, just passed it into the goal. Yeah, goalkeeper, no chance. Yeah, just watching it again. So it's gone through somebody's legs, misheaded it, miscontrol from Albion. Oh, yeah, it's not nice to look at as coaching staff on the West Brom team, but great to look at as a Wolves supporter.
Willy Bolly's first Premier League goal since away at Southampton in April 2019. It's been a hell of a wait. Didn't get a Premier League goal in the whole of last season. We all remember that dramatic strike in the Europa League away at Besiktas in October of 2019. That was the last time Willy Bolly was on the score sheet. Boy, could that be an important one.
Well, so was it a minute left just to go into the half, a bit injury time as well. And again, after going from a goal down in that first 7 minutes to a penalty, they have dominated the game and they've made it easy at times for West Brom, but just in that last 5-10 minutes, they've started to insert a lot more danger on the defence of West Brom.
O'Shea's ball forward. Snodgrass was in behind. Sai's here on the right-hand side. Low one, took a little deflection. Bolly clearing it away. Wolves are insistent that the offside flag should have gone up.
Again, you know my theory behind that, so I don't understand.
Snodgrass on again. Grzycki, again, he looked offside. Sai's with a foot in, clearing it up towards halfway, and Fabio Silva putting real pressure on Ajayi here, and Ajayi having to play it back to Bartley. Last couple of seconds of the 45.
Yeah, so they've started to put a few more people up front now. Not as comfortable as what they were before.
Sawyer's low across the centre circle. Here comes the fourth official with the board for how much is going to be added on. It'll be 1 minute. Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. O'Shea's throw. Infield to Sawyers. Then Donker closing him down on the edge of the centre circle. So he's left to Bartley. Helped out further left. Pereira taking over. Back in field to Sawyers. Will try and lift the ball with a big diagonal crossfield pass to Snodgrass. Snodgrass up against Saiz on his left foot, crossing to the far post. Bolly's header, it's going to come through to Gibbs to strike it all the way across the penalty area and behind for a goal kick.
Just needed a shake there, Bolly, didn't he? Could have probably left that. There's no real challenge coming from any West Brom player, but he was backing off and he thought that he had to deal with, especially being in that penalty area. Just watching it again here. Could have just let it go, I think. Yeah, Casemiro. There you go.
There it is. Half-time whistle goes. Well, I don't know what your nerves are like at home. It didn't get off to the start that we were hoping and predicting when Willy Bolly gave away a penalty challenge right on the edge of the penalty area. There will be a lot of debate as to whether it should have been a penalty or a free kick. The VAR checked it. They were happy enough to stay with the spot kick. Mateus Pereira stepped up and sent Rui Patricio the wrong way. Wolves went close for a couple of decent efforts from distance and eventually got themselves back into it. Fabio Silva from a clever little flick by Willy Bolly, who himself had had two really good opportunities. He became provider when he just cleverly backheeled Fabio Silva onside because an Albion player was down in the penalty area. Shades of Sylvain Emacs play because he stroked it into the far corner. And then Bolly himself from a set piece, the ball dropped to him 6 yards out. He made no mistake. He's certainly been making the headlines. Wolves have the lead at the break, Tomo.
Yeah, so like an indifferent first half for Bolly, hasn't it? As you've touched on there about giving away the penalty and then getting the goal that's put him in front and being involved in the assist for Fabio Silva's chance. Look, say Wolves have been quite comfortable for the majority of the first half. They've just got to be careful about making little mistakes, giving opportunities for Albion to get a little bit of possession and put some pressure on the Wolves goal. But apart from that, if Wolves can just lift it up a fraction more, stop making those little errors, they'll be quite comfortable throughout that second half.
Okay, more to come from Andy Thompson and from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo on Derby Day in the Black Country. Wolves lead by 2-1 at the break. Don't go anywhere.
Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Join the pack. Become a 2021 member online today. Whether you're a dribbler joining for the first time or an international fan supporting from afar. Being a Wolves member gets you an exclusive joining gift, £10 Megastore voucher, and exclusive offers from Wolves and our partners. For more information and to join, visit membership.wolves.co.uk.
Wolves Lottery is committed to helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money-can't-buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/Wolves-Lottery.
We can't welcome you to the Wolves Megastore at the moment, but our online store is available 24/7. Visit shop.wolves.co.uk for huge savings on replica kits, training wear, and exclusive Wolves clothing ranges.
Wolves TV, the home of live uninterrupted radio commentary of every single Wolves game.
Jimenez! Oh, you beauty!
But that's not all. Wolves TV also brings you extended and alternative match highlights, interviews with the team, behind-the-scenes features and training coverage, plus see every goal Wolves score from every angle.
The volley over the goal! That is simply stunning!
So check out Wolves TV online at wolves.co.uk or on the move via the Wolves app. Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Well. What a first half of football. It might not have been entirely pretty, but Wolves have themselves in front by 2-1. Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme with us here on Matchday Live Extra. Let's kind of work through it point to point, I guess. Starting with the penalty. Carl Ikeme, what do you make of it? Because Looms has already been in our group talking about this. Should it have been a penalty or a free kick? That's the question first of all.
I felt like it was a free kick. I felt it was clumsy, a little bit clumsy from Bali, but I didn't think it was a penalty. I watched it back a few times. I don't know if Dave still had a different view to what I've had, but I just didn't see it. It didn't seem like it was in the box to me, and disappointing start from Wolves again. But I don't believe it was a penalty.
Let's talk about it. So Willie Bolly thinks he can genuinely make an attempt on the ball. It was a genuine challenge. The ball, in my opinion, is touching the line. So when Callum Robinson's foot touches that ball, that's the area that you look at. So the fact that the ball was touching the line, Callum Robinson's just got there before him. The ball's then left and Willie Bolly's come in. The contact is outside the box, but you've got to go from the area when his foot touches the ball. If his ball's over touching the line, then it's a penalty kick because that's the process, I believe. So it is a strange one, very, very tight call. But like you've already said in your commentary, I think it's the same guy at Stockley Park that never gave the blatant penalty on Fabio Silva with Eric Dyer, which again, it's shambolic. Yeah. So you just like little things like that to go in the favour. And you've got to talk about the handball with Gibbs, I'm sure, Mikey, which is a blatant handball. And if it doesn't touch Gibbs' hand, then Silva has an attempt. So it's an advantage to West Brom that's not given. And if that's looked at VAR, it has to be a penalty kick because it's an advantage to West Brom. Remember the Leicester penalty? That shouldn't have been given because there's no one in the box. So there was no advantage to Leicester if that ball went straight in because Rui Patricio gets the ball and that was given. So I just don't. There's so many inconsistencies with it. It's poor.
Yeah, I mean his hands are like here, aren't they?
But Mike, it's not about where his hands are. The ball definitely touches hands. It's where the ball was going. If it doesn't touch his hands, if that then falls to the floor, Fabio Silva then puts it into the back of the net. That's an advantage to West Brom.
But I guess the point I'm making is there's no way they can claim that is a natural position to be in. The ball comes down, hits his hands and goes down. Before we get, because there's a lot we've got to try and rattle through. So I think we're kind of all in agreement that...
I'm just watching it back. Maybe his foot was just on the line for the penalty.
It's really close, isn't it?
It's really close.
Take your time, mate. Have another look at it. Take your time.
I didn't get this angle. It's tight, man. It's tight. It's just it's one of them. Yeah, it's one of them things that are not going in our way at the minute.
Yeah, and I think probably it's one of those situations whereby had it been given as a free kick, they probably wouldn't have overturned it to a penalty.
Spot on. Yeah, spot on, Mikey.
It's got to be clear and obvious. So, okay. Albion were nearly 2-0 up.
Patricio, what a save!
Yeah,
what a save! And it can't happen. It's from a header that's attacked well, and then it's the phase two. Robinson alive to it, just outstretched. Goalkeeper, you don't know much about that, Keems, do you? You just make yourself big and fantastic goalkeeping, seen the danger.
Yeah, it seems like everyone else has switched off, but apart from Rui, and he's just come out, made himself big and reacted to the save. But we looked a bit nervy, I think, defending in and around our backs. And I don't know if it's from conceding the penalty early on or just performances lately, but we have looked a bit nervy, and I think it's something that we're going to have to address in the second half because we are going to come under pressure. But
we have caused the problems ourselves, haven't we? So by making silly little mistakes.
You called it, Tomo.
Yeah, there's players out there who never generally make mistakes, like Neto's touch not being as tight to him as he wants it to, so like giving away the ball when there's no pressure on the ball. So very unlike us to give away the ball without no real pressure, and that's give Albion a little bit of a lift. It's allowed Albion to come into the game more and to cause a threat. And again, you're talking about Patricio's save, great save. So because he wasn't offside, we looked at the replay, well onside. So again, it's kind of changed the game a little bit because that would have given definitely Albion the push forward.
So Wolves managed to get themselves back into it, and I said before, I mean, what a day Willy Bolly is having. He's had 2 decent efforts on goal. He gives away a penalty. He then has the sharpness of mind, Carl Ikeme, to just deftly touch that back. And because Pereira is on the deck, Fabio Silva can't be offside. It's really clever play.
Oh, he's been brilliant in Albion's backs, hasn't he? He's just nice. But no, just aside, he has. Apart from that, he has been pretty good throughout this afternoon. Apart from the penalty, he's been really threatening in Albion's box. Like you said, a great touch for Fabio's goal. Obviously, great composure to take the goal himself, and he had that opportunity in the earlier on in the half as well. Where he's kind of backheeled it. Just passed by the post, so he's been really effective in Albion's box, and he's looking like a problem. So obviously we want him to defend well in our own box, but I think that's we were talking about getting goals from different areas at the start, Looms, and I think he's helping us with that.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. You know, when he's made, I guess, an error, he's conceded a penalty kick. You have to do something to get yourself back, and he has. You know, you can see he was devastated with the decision. And what's he done? He's attacking everything, and that little bit of quality, he's got that. He's a footballer. He's a proper baller, the big man. You know what I mean? So again, he's got his goal. He's got an assist. But Fabio Silva in the box as well, outstanding, good strength as well. Knew exactly where the goal was. You know what I mean? Delighted for him. You could see it. So you're talking about a little. Tomo's spot on. Tomo says, you know, all of our players have got another gear. You know, at the minute, is there a nervousness because it's West Brom? Is there a nervousness because, yeah, we need the result. We want the result. It's a massive game, and you can see that. So I'm delighted that it means that much to the players.
Looms, on that Fabio Silva goal, we were saying before, how much does it remind you of Silva and Ebank's play? Yeah. The way the bum goes out, pushes the defender back, and then the calmness just to roll it in.
Look, there's no one better than Silva and Ebank's play at doing those kind of goals. No matter how tight it was, no matter how many bodies, he knew. He just got the little swivel. But Silva there just knew what Bolly was going to do. Put his body weight, and then just the calmness just to slot it in the way he did. He has that quality. But you know what? Let's throw that challenge to him. Let's see that game in, game out, you know, because he gets chances every game because of the quality that he's got. So he needs to be hitting the back of the net consistently. And it's a fantastic goal. And hopefully, you know, we've reacted. We've shown a reaction after conceding. And West Brom have been in the match, by the way. It's not a. So again, Nuno will be delighted, but go and build on that. We can't take our foot off the pedal because West Brom have individuals that can score goals.
It's just a character that you were talking about as well, that was shown in his with Bolly's celebration, how delighted he was to get the goal. It was a great celebration. I think I would love there to be fans there because it'd be iconic as well. But just to go on what you're saying about Fabio Silva, I think he's used his body really well today. Yeah. And you've seen him throwing himself about. I've seen him clatter the keeper a few times. He's backing his body into a J, and I think that's what he needs to do in the game, and he's starting to do it, and he's done it brilliant for his goal, and it was a great finish.
Yeah, but just don't forget, so he's an 18-year-old lad, so and that's going to come with his game. So building up his strength, and you can see he wants to do it, and he did brilliant. Just before he scored the goal, so he actually pushed the player out the way as well, just to chest the ball down. Okay, we've got to wrap up because Albion are on their way back out.
Mikey, your score prediction, mate, I hope you're right. That's all I'm going to say. I hope you're right. Come on!
All of you were to nil. I'm the only one left in the game. Hopefully.
Sylvan 2-1.
Hopefully there will be more goals to come. Don't go anywhere. Matchday Live Extra, second half is coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
We can't welcome you to the Wolves megastore at the moment, but our online store is available 24/7. Visit shop.wolves.co.uk for huge savings on replica kits, training wear and exclusive Wolves clothing ranges.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Julian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
All Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So both teams are out and we are nearly ready to get going for the second half here at Molineux. Wolves leading by 2-1 on Derby Day in the Black Country. Can they see this through and get the first win for a decade over their nearest rivals? Wolves will play attacking the Sir Jack Hayward South Bank away to our right-hand side for this second half, defending the Stankerless North Bank away to our left. No changes from either side of the break. Wolves with Patricio in goals, Semedo, Bolly, Cody Saiz, Dendoncker, Neves, Moutinho, Traore, Fabio Silva and Neto. Albion with Button in goal, O'Shea, Bartley, Ajayi, Gibbs. Then a midfield of Snodgrass, Sawyers, Livermore, Grzycki with Pereira behind Robinson. And Semedo wins a free kick just over the halfway line, or just on halfway as Neves takes it back to Willy Bolly. We are very much in amongst it. I know there are so many of you who would want to be here today. So many messages coming through. Neil watching in Tunis with German Sky Sports pictures. Andy watching in Amsterdam. Sue in Willenhall. Near and far, wherever you are, we are all part of the same family and community. And I know this means so much to so many. Moutinho finding Saiz on the left-hand side, looking to try and drive deep into the Albion half. Infield to Fabio Silva, turning, trying to get himself into the penalty area here. Fabio Silva on the run, and he tried to pull it back to Neto, and it was turned behind for a corner. And wow, that goal has given him some real confidence.
And that rightfully so. So like already you can see a difference. That weight lifted from his shoulders a little bit, you could say. But again, so like he's confident enough to go and push forward. Just couldn't pick out that pass. A lot of Albion bodies in there to start with. But he did well there.
2 minutes gone at the start of the second half. Wolves with a corner. Moutinho to take it, right-footed from the left-hand side. 4 runners beyond the penalty spot and Traore in the 6-yard box. It goes towards Traore, who gets a flick on, comes through. Dendoncker trying to get some space. Tees there for Fabio Silva, and it's blocked as he tried to strike it goalwards, and he'll get another Wolves corner out of it.
Yeah, did well there, didn't he? Did well there. I think it was Dendoncker just shielding it and just laying it back. Good flick from Traore on the initial corner. Yeah, did all he can, Fabio Silva, by shooting.
Neto left-footed from the right-hand side this time. Again, 5 gold shirts in the penalty area to aim for. Neto will whip it in deeper. Bolly climbed highest. He was just off balance, and his header went wide of the far post.
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth now, hasn't he, Bolly? He wants more, especially up that end. He launches himself at it.
Well, he is having some game.
Yeah, just couldn't get enough on it, could he, to direct it towards the goal. But he did well to actually get any kind of contact on it.
Wolves with a throw, short of halfway. Tomo's already dropped a picture into our group of Fabio Silva made up as Jesus.
Yeah, that's some of the Wolves fans have sent me already. Don't take them long, did it?
I've just been sent a picture of the BT Sport app. Has a kind of 360 camera, which is right in front of us. And well, Paz just sent me a picture of it. I mean, I don't know why he's watching us and not the game. Wolves lead Albion by 2-1 as we approach 4 minutes played at the start of the second half. Semedo to try and carry it forward, just to the right of the centre circle, over halfway. Out to Traore on this right-hand side, up against Gwizicki. Checking back again. Now trying to find the feet of Dendoncker. He was looking for Semedo, wasn't quite on the same wavelength.
Yeah, just a bit tight in there, though, wasn't it, as well? He just tried to thread that pass through. Probably just should have gone out wide again. But again, you've got to try things.
Neat little bit of interplay of Dendoncker, Moutinho and Neves in a very tight position. And Neto eventually winning a free kick midway inside the half, 10 in from the left-hand touchline. So rarely have we seen Wolves lead for quite a while, really. Obviously got themselves in front at Brighton, and then second half felt more like torture than anything else.
Well, 20 seconds, was it, the penalty? So it's already sound like a little bit better than that. But again, pushing forward Wolves.
Neto to try and whip the ball in. It comes through to Fabio Silva. It's Saiz who hits it goalwards. I think there was a handball in there by Fabio Silva anyway. So here's one for you. Willy Bolly is the first Wolves player to concede a penalty, assist a goal and score a goal in the same Premier League game since Adlen Guediora in May 2011, which was also against West Brom at Molineux. That is an incredible stat from our main stats man, Dan Sharp, who's part of the team, who put together another brilliant programme with a cover that you will absolutely want to go to wolves.co.uk, find out how you can get your hands on the brilliant programmes that have been done throughout this season.
Yeah, it's good. It's impressive.
There's Pereira out to the right-hand side for Albion. Snodgrass trying to get some room up against João Moutinho. Moutinho didn't quite stop the cross, but he did enough to put some pressure on, and Neves got it clear.
Yeah, he did enough, didn't he, Moutinho? Just didn't allow him just to get anything real contact on it.
O'Shea will get set to try and launch a long throw in. Ajay is forwards from the back. It goes in towards them. Dangerous flick on, headed goalwards, and 2-2. Albion back on level terms. Wolves couldn't deal with the long throw in. Albion won the first header and the second header. And it's Ajay with the final touch. And it's Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 2.
Yeah, just a long throw, wasn't it? So we set up.
One flick on, two flick on,
and it's just
into the far corner.
Yeah, it's just looped away from Patricio. He couldn't get near it, could he? Just too far away from him.
Despairing dive. Yeah. Couldn't reach it, and we are all square again.
Yeah, Bartley just winning that first header, wasn't it? Got to do better on that second one. Oh.
Well, it's not pretty. Sometimes it's the old Stoke tactic of the long throw. Here is Ruben Neves. Different game on again now. Wolves have got to try and maintain some levels and some tempo and really take it forwards.
It's just not working out for us at the moment, isn't it? About trying to keep goals out. We just seem to concede goals. And again, all it was from a long throw.
Yeah, I wonder whether Wolves might have had a chat about that at half-time and whether it's worth having someone on the post.
Yeah, the back post, yeah. Well, I think a lot of keepers probably think that with the way that we defend now, we don't have anybody on it. That might be something they need to look at.
Moutinho all the way back to Semedo, just inside the Albion half, looking to try and drive his way through here, and it's a powerful run by Semedo, and he looked like he was taken out on the edge of the box, but Michael Oliver not interested, just gives a goal kick.
Well, he's quick to show that it was a goal kick. Well, I thought that's a foul.
Yeah, that's a foul by Kyle Bartley.
He said before the game about decisions going, I'll go with everything that goes for Wolves, but again, for me, that's a blatant free kick.
Suspicion of an elbow in there, and that long throw move that led to Albion getting that equaliser as well is not going to add to Wolves fans' dislike of VAR. They've got to go again.
Yeah, got to go again. Got to try and get themselves back into it, and hopefully don't give anything away.
Oh, Neves not had his best game today, and he sliced an attempted clearance. Sawyers to Grzycki on the Albion left, 25 yards from goal, up towards Robinson on the edge of the box. He takes
Penalty.
a tumble. Oh, it's another penalty. Goodness me, Connor Cody can't believe it. Albion have got a second penalty in the game. Michael Oliver a fair old distance from it, but he has pointed to the spot.
Well, Connor Cody's pleading his innocency about what he's done. He has said he hadn't touched him.
Well, he kicks the left foot and then maybe scoops a little bit at the right foot. It's harsh, but I can't see this being overturned.
No, I don't think so either. Oh. Okay, we've been our worst enemies today, haven't we? He's still pleading that he's not touched him.
Well, penalty given, and it's the same two. Pereira against Patricio. Will Pereira go a different way? Will Patricio go a different way? Matthias Pereira, left-footed from the penalty spot. He does go a different way, but so did Patricio, and it's the same result. And complete turnaround from half-time. Inside 10 minutes of the start of the second half, it's Wolves 2, Albion 3.
Oh, I was going to say, look, a few minutes of madness, all of a sudden you've gone from 2-1 comfortable to being down 3-2. It's not good viewing at the minute. It's not good. Players are still arguing with the referee about the decision, Connor Cody especially.
Pereira's composure. Patricio, who faced 2 penalties against Leicester this season, saved the second from Jamie Vardy, couldn't repeat the feat. And now Wolves have got to come from behind again. Semedo trying to carry the ball forwards, and you go back to Semedo should have had a free kick on the edge of their penalty area that Michael Oliver didn't give.
Yeah, and again, I know I keep echoing it, but say consistency refereeing, VAR, whatever you want to look at. You can't just be making your mind up for different decisions. If there's contact, you give free kicks. You can't just decide which team you're giving them to.
Martinho forwards, Fabio Silva couldn't quite hold it up. Martinho scrapping. Livermore came away with it to Snodgrass, and they'll pull it back for a free kick on Livermore. Morgan Gibbs-White is stripped and ready to come on. I say, you wonder what's the difference, because Robinson didn't have control of the ball. It had long gone. So what's the difference between that and the Semedo
I don't know.
incident?
And this is what I'm talking about. So we talk about consistency, about refereeing and making the right decisions most of the time. And I think he's got a couple of decisions wrong today.
Gibbs to try and drive one forwards, headed away by Semedo. Then Dunker infield to Martinho, who tries to lift it early towards Neto, too far, and out of play for a throw on the far side. Gibbs-White being readied. You imagine it's for one of that midfield three. But which one?
Yeah, I think he will make a change in there. But
well, he is making a change. That's why I'm asking which one.
Yeah, probably Martinho. But then again, you've said Neves hasn't had his great game today.
Neto coming short. Saiz with a throw, a couple of yards short of halfway. 58 minutes played. Saiz's ball. Sawyer's forwards. Pereira down to Grzycki. Neves with a foot in, but picked up by Romain Sawyers. Robinson, it went past him and Semedo, but to the feet of Bolly.
Got to get themselves going again now after conceding 2 goals quickly. Got to try and get themselves back into it.
Fabio Silva needed to hold the ball up on halfway, and Albion are trying to pour some numbers forwards down their right-hand side this time. Dangerous cross comes in. Semedo's header to the edge of the box. Sawyers to strike it, thankfully a long way wide. And a goal kick. And here comes the change. Neves caught as he flew out to try and block Romain Sawyers. Wolves just checking he's okay.
Yeah,
and it is Ruben Neves who's coming off. So I guess the holding midfielder comes out and maybe Gibbs White to go into number 10. The local boy, can he be the difference? Patricio's kick out to Semedo. Lifts it up to halfway. Traore battling away with Gibbs. Gibbs nodding it back to Bartley. We'll go all the way back to Button. Fabio Silva did enough pressure on him to force it out for a throw to Wolves.
No, they've got to force the tempo up now, haven't they? They've got to try and go again, get a little bit quicker in the pass.
Bolly. That's a rather aimless deep ball that's going to go all the way through to Button. Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. Albion were 1-0 up. Wolves got back to 2-1 at half-time. And now 3-2. The Baggies have had 2 penalties. Wolves should have had at least one. Should have had one in the first half. Questionable decisions that have not gone Wolves' way.
No.
And they need now to step up again. And they may be thinking about another change.
Yeah, it looks like they are.
Nori coming back. Maybe an attacking change at fullback. Flick ball forwards. Dendoncker back over halfway. Fabio Silva for Gibbs White. Traore was just a little bit too close to him there. And now Pereira trying to capitalise as he races deep into the Wolves half, looking to lift it towards Robinson in the penalty area. Robinson onto his right foot, low one across the face of goal. Patricio always looked like he had it covered.
It's gone very scrappy, hasn't it, at the minute? More so towards Wolves. If anything, Albion are the one who are pushing forward. So they're just sitting back and just trying to catch Wolves on the counter, as you would think.
We are past the hour mark. Then Donker to Semedo, back to Bolly. First and foremost, Wolves need to find an equaliser. Saiss on the left-hand side, back to Connor Cody.
Haven't really got Neto and Traore into the second half, have we? Been very quiet.
Fabio Silva trying to chase down, Ajayi back to Button, who launches forwards. Moutinho wins the first header, Dendoncker the second. Moutinho so congested in that midfield area. Ball bouncing back to Semedo on the turn. Falls to Traore. Oh,
there you go.
Trying to play it first time wide to Neto.
And didn't need to. Didn't need to. Again, that having the ability just to take it in. Don't get away. Yeah, so Nuno's going to make another change. You'd think Saiss would probably be the one.
Sawyers forwards. Bolly there ahead of Robinson. Back to halfway. Gibbs White challenging. Ajayi went into the back of Fabio Silva. They play on because Moutinho has it. He gets it out to the left-hand side to Romain Saiss. Go infield to Jean Moutinho. Now to Connor Cody. Switches the play on halfway to Semedo. Semedo with not many options ahead of him.
No, and they're blocking off now the wide areas.
Traore, Dendoncker tried to cushion the header on for Traore, but he's quick. He's not going to be that quick. Clearance forwards. Bolly heading it back deep into the Albion half. 2 Albion players went for it. Shea will try and head it away towards halfway. Semedo getting there ahead of Robinson, holding off his man, Moutinho. Infield to Dendoncker on the edge of the centre circle. The left-hand side to Saiss. First time to the feet of Neto. Neto, can he find some room? Going past his man, whipping across all the way through the penalty area.
What a ball.
Delicious cross. No one met it.
No, and so Fabio Silva tried to get in there, but Traore's got to break a neck to get in there. He's got to be sprinting to get in there. Because I tell you what, if he gets in front of that defender, he's just got to tap in. But a great ball in from Neto on that left side, and he's holding his hands out. He don't know what else he can do. And he's right.
Right, it's Connor Cody who is being replaced. Willie Bolly will take over the captain's armband. Saiz will go to centre half and Aït-Nouri to the left. I think that may well be the first time Connor Cody has ever been subbed by Nuno.
I was just about to say that. That's a first. That's a first. Saiz coming back into that central defence position.
64 minutes played. Here's Semedo. Gibbs White forcing his way through. Fabio Silva couldn't quite do the same on the edge of the penalty area. The Jay's clearance hits Traore and goes out of play for a Baggies throw.
Yeah, it's just not happening, is it? At the minute. Ricochets. But you make your own luck. You've got to make sure you try and get yourselves into it, doing the right things.
Gibbs gets it back from Sawyers and launches it to the halfway line. Bolly will win the first header, drops down to Matinho. Matinho caught in the back by Pereira. Matinho wanting to get things moving to Dendoncker through the centre circle. Out to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Back in field to Leander Dendoncker. Albion getting very deep. Bolly, clever pass up to Gibbs White on the turn to the right hand side to Traore. Traore trying to go on the outside of Gibbs. Low ball into the danger zone, turned away by Bartley. Fabio Silva was closing in. Wolves maybe just beginning to go through the gears again, just cranking it up.
Well, they need to up the tempo. They need to try and get Albion to come out a little bit or create the space behind them. Again, I'd like to see Neto and Traore into the game a little bit more. Got to pass it a little bit sharp and try and get them the ball as early as possible.
The throw went into Fabio Silva, who miscontrolled and then fouled, so an Albion free kick. Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. Again, Wolves still very much leading possession, but possession is not really getting them anywhere at the minute.
No.
Semedo, well, surely that's a foul by Ajayi. Free kick given. Saiz also got to get upfield. Saiz over halfway for Neto. Aït-Nouri's gone past him on the overlap. Here is Ryan Aït-Nouri. Men arriving in the penalty area. Aït-Nouri twisting and turning to try and find some space, and again clattered into. Nothing given by Michael Oliver. Dendoncker winning it back. Neto for Dendoncker. Having to go back to halfway to Saiz. Saiz looking downfield. Aït-Nouri was the option. Aït-Nouri midway inside the half. Clever ball infield to Neto, who just got a was in front of him.
It's just off, wasn't it? So he just couldn't take it. Good ball from Aït-Nouri, though, to try and find Neto.
It's those fine margins. One half step further forwards Neto, and it's perfect. There's Saiz. Infield to Bolly. Left to the centre circle. Short pass to the feet of Matinho. Has to go back to Willy Bolly. To remain Saiz. Turning infield away from Pereira. Carrying it into the Albion half. And a good ball down the inside left channel for the run of Gibbs White. Gibbs White needs some support. Gets it from Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri back onto his left foot. Whips his cross in. Deflected. Wolves corner.
Yeah, just got to try and put the pressure on what they are. Onto the West Brom defence. Aït-Nouri doing well down that left-hand side. Again, they've just got to keep going. Keep putting the ball into areas that it's going to make it uncomfortable for West Brom and hopefully get something out of it.
Neto's corner. Left-footed from the left-hand side. Whipped in. High Bolly trying to get there. Oof, came off a Albion head again. And it's another corner. It was Kyle Bartley who just got in front of him.
I think he missed that, Bolly. I think that it's hit. I think he's got a header there. Yeah, he's missed it. Oh, and he knows himself. Look at the expression on his face.
Neto again. Just over 20 minutes to play. Whips the ball in dangerously. Bolly trying to get there. It was arms all over each other. I think it was O'Shea ended up going down inside the box. And it's going to be an Albion change coming here.
Yeah.
Bolly, is he having his shirt pulled? Saiz as well.
Yeah, Robson Canoe coming on, I think.
Oh, Robson Cano coming on for Kamil Grzycki. A little bit more of a physical presence up top.
Substitute for West Brom Albion, replacing number 13 from Al is number 4, Albert Ikeme.
Yeah, Robinson will probably drop back into midfield area for Albion, won't he?
He'll come and play on the left.
Yeah.
69 minutes played. Wolves searching for an equaliser again. Robinson closed down by Moutinho. West Brom throw midway inside their own half.
Yeah, there'll be no rush to do anything, will they? No rush to actually take anything.
All eyes on when Wolves might call for Patrick Catrone. As Bolly sends it deep into the Albion half. Fabio Silva chasing Ajayi, able to head it back to the keeper. Fabio Silva being urged to go and close down Button and make sure he picked the ball up and start that clock counting, although referees rarely penalised for 6 seconds anymore.
I can't remember the last time I saw that. So penalising a goalkeeper for having the ball in his hands. Seen goal kicks, but never seen anything lately for that. Oh.
He was one of the things that Daniel Podence put on his Instagram the other week when he was complaining. The Wolves, of course, keep finding themselves trailing in games and ending up being on the wrong end of those kind of tactics. And the things that are celebrated when you're leading as the offside flag's gone up. It's an Albion man. But when you've been behind, and you're often behind, as Wolves have often been, it becomes even more frustrating. The Wolves' frustration levels are high. Here's Traore trying to find some room on that right-hand side and leaving Gibbs for dead and continuing to charge forwards. Adama Traore, low one back. Fabio Silva swung at it and he missed it. Never got a sweet connection. And Albion had enough bodies back there in the end. Dendoncker winning it back. It's going to come to Sawyers on the edge of the box. Gibbs-White closing down. Comes to Moutinho. Oh, and a poor touch by Moutinho. Allowed Sawyers to close in. And Moutinho making amends, but at the expense of a throw.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing things happening that don't usually happen. But a great run from Traore, wasn't it? Just picked out the pass as well. Any connection. It's on target. Never caught it, did he? It's a shame for Silva. Opportunity to have a couple of goals to his name.
Saiz with a big, expansive outside of his left boot ball for Neto on halfway. Neto trying to get away from his man into the Albion half, trying to run past the second. It was too much though, as Livermore just used his body to make sure he couldn't get to it. Moutinho challenging.
Good
Run
tackle.
the ball. Here's Gibbs-White on the turn. It's going to come through to Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva up towards the edge of the box, lining up a low strike and across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, a couple of advantages there from the referee, which is nice to see. Yeah, good tackle from Moutinho. Just watching it. Pereira going to ground.
Yeah. Well, Nuno is back, sat on his seat, on his bench, no doubt pondering. How do they find a way back in? With 17 minutes to play. Penny for the thoughts.
Yeah.
Saw Traore producing something special there. There just wasn't the finish at the end of it as Dendoncker gives away a free kick and will get a yellow card, which is a touch harsh. I don't think he saw the Albion player coming. He just had a rather high foot.
See, for me, that he's not looking at the player at all. He's just focused on the ball. Yeah. So they're both going for it, but he's not gone for the player at all. So it's a free kick.
Morgan Gibbs-White, I think, trying to make that protestation to Michael Oliver and Leander Dendoncker joining Samir J in the referee's notebook. There's not been a lot of tough challenges really for Derby. Maybe one of the elements of lacking a crowd. High ball towards Bartley. Bolly climbed highest. Martinho to try and bring it away. Under pressure from Robinson.
Offside.
They'll eventually pull it back for an offside.
No, sorry, it's only 20 minutes late. It's all right. Again, let the assistant referees make a decision. So, like, why they've got to wait for somebody else?
14 minutes remain. 16 minutes, I should say. Maybe it's even more.
Well, it will be with the injury time, won't it?
Remains Saiz. Wolves turned it round once already in this game. And it was Albion's turn. Wolves going to get a throw deep inside the Albion half on the Wolves left. Playing towards that south bank that would be so vocal right now. Gibbs White. Leaving it for Neto, midway inside the Baggies half. Back into the centre circle to Bolly. Bolly out to Semedo on the right-hand side. Traore is in field. Here is Traore, setting it on down the line again for Semedo, who will just about keep it in now. First touch did, and then he didn't quite get the second touch quick enough. Couldn't rearrange his feet.
Doesn't that just sum us up today, though? Just sum us up. He's got no pressure on himself. Traore, all he's got to do is just put it beyond the back line of West Brom and he overhits it.
Button will go and take the goal kick from the opposite side. Second half, Wolves around 68% possession, 6 shots, but none on target. As opposed to 5 on target from 11 in the first half. Again, it's getting efforts on target in the second half of games. It was the same on Tuesday. Same here. Saiz heads one away. Gibbs White does well. A little back heel as well to find Martinho. Now up early towards Pedro Neto. Wolves have got men pouring forwards. Neto to try and set himself, trying to go on the outside of his man to the byline. Stands his cross up. Traore arriving, couldn't get over the top of the ball. And his header went over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, again, it's getting the chances in it, and we're just missing that vital thing at the end.
And here comes the pasta merchant.
Yeah, great play from Neto down that left-hand side. And Silva and Traore getting in each other's way. Yeah.
Patrick Catrone is stripped and ready. With 13.5 minutes remaining, plus time to be added on. Gibbs White, again a clever touch to Semedo. Semedo over the halfway line, allowed to continue running through the middle of the Albion half. Now to Pedro Neto on the left, just on the corner of the penalty area. Pedro Neto pulling it back to Dendoncker. Dendoncker trying to tee it up for Martinho. It went across him a little bit. Martinho forced wide to the right-hand side, still carrying it though. João Martinho, and he's done really well. A clever touch. Attempted low cross, blocked off by Gibbs. Just wonder whether he could have just put that in the danger zone.
Yeah, did brilliant there, didn't he? You can see he's trying to pull it back. Just zip it across maybe. Did brilliant, just running down that right-hand side. You thought he had no options there at all. Had to do it all his own.
There's Aït-Nouri. Wide to the left-hand side to Pedro Neto. Neto being shown in field this time. Aït-Nouri with the ball at his feet, 30 yards from goal. Back again wide for Pedro Neto, trying to get his cross in. Takes a big deflection. Traore was arriving and the ball agonisingly bounced about a foot in front of him and reared up high over his head. Clearance to Saiz, who's trying to cushion his header to Martinho, but it went straight to Sawyers. And now Snodgrass for West Brom. Back to Livermore. We're trying to hit a diagonal. Semedo got a touch to it. Was he fouled? No, it'll be an Albion throw. And here comes Catrone. And it's João Martinho who is being replaced.
Well, that just leaves Dendoncker, so you'd think that one of them are going to drop back, or Gibbs White maybe, or Neto just drop back into that midfield area.
Here's Sawyers. Final roll of the dice has been made. He's got one more serve, but it feels like that's the big moment. Catrone on. Gibbs-White will slot back in alongside Dendoncker. In the meantime, Albion are on the attack with Robinson down by the left-hand corner flag. Tried a bit of trickery and it ended up going out of play for a Wolves throw.
Well, he's got his 3 subs on now.
2 subs, but...
Aitanuri, Gibbs-White.
Oh, that's true, yeah, Conor Cody went off. Yeah, you're all right. My apologies.
Thank you.
That's the big moments. The Wolves have got to try and find a way to produce something special.
We're going to have to do something. Was it just over 10 minutes left? We're going to have to up the tempo. We're going to have to try and get that equaliser.
Gibbs-White with a stray ball trying to find Neto. Nouri stepping in, ball rebounding. Bolly challenging, but it was flicked on. Nouri there ahead of Robson Kanu. He's under pressure from Robson Kanu and he'll win a free kick. So Catrone and Fabio Silva are up top. Neto out wide left, Adama Traore out wide right. Gibbs-White is effectively playing in front of Dendoncker. Wolves have in theory, a one-man midfield here.
Dendonker's going to do the job on his own. He's more than capable enough to do it. But we've got to try and get this goal back, at least.
I remember Alfred and Jai doing something similar against Swansea in an FA Cup tie when Wolves were down to 10 men. Here's Semedo. It's the right-hand side to Traore. Gibbs thought he could win it and didn't. Traore with the ball at his feet, again trying to shape up against Gibbs and plays it off the Albion defender, and it will be a Wolves corner.
Come on, we've got to get something out of this. I say we've had enough opportunities, just haven't been able to get at the end of anything.
Across the game, Wolves have had 18 efforts on goal. This is their 10th corner of the match. Pedro Neto, both arms in the air, left-footed from the right-hand side, whipped in, and the goalkeeper comes and punches. Semedo trying to play it back out wide to Neto. Neto to Semedo, sets himself, one touch, poor cross, took a little deflection off Livermore. Semedo first the loose ball to Gibbs-White, back to Semedo. Neto is still out on the right-hand touchline. It goes into the feet of Traore. Traore turning and facing up against Robinson. Trying to flick it forwards to Fabio Silva. Back to Traore. Fabio Silva again, away by Gibbs. Only as far as Semedo, 25 yards from goal. Leaves it for Neto to take over. Neto being shown infield, trying to scoop it forwards. It might drop here. Big chance for Catrone. Oh, and he hit it into the ground and over the top of the crossbar.
Oh dear. Again, it's patient play. So they're just starting to get at Albion. But anything clean, any clean strike, he's scoring for me.
He had to wait for it for a real age, and he smacked it down into the ground. And it agonisingly looped up as Donnell Furlong comes on for Mateus Pereira. His 2 penalties are the difference at the moment. 8 minutes to play, plus time added on. Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. Button to clear the ball forwards. Gibbs-White's header on. Catrone will give chase. O'Shea, who's gone in as part of a back 5. Now 3 central defenders for now. Furlong, Donnell Furlong, right wing back. Gibbs left wing back. Albion are trying to protect what they have.
Well, you would expect nothing else. So look, at the end of the day, they've got themselves in front.
Bolly to Semedo. 4 Albion players around him to Traore. Traore being shown in field away from Sawyers really easily. And then in the end, Gibbs came across and Traore's done well to win a free kick. Saiz coming forwards. Bolly coming forwards. He just wanted a word with Neto before he got there. Gibbs-White placing it as well. Albion's defensive line just inside their penalty area. Morgan Gibbs-White to try and lift it in. Bolly getting a flick on, and Button came and claimed it before Catrone could get there on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, again, it's fine margins again, isn't it? It's just not happening. I thought they say you make your own luck, but again, is it 6.5 minutes left or so?
Got to keep believing.
Yeah, got to keep believing, got to keep pushing forward, got to believe that you can get that chance back.
Ain't Nouri. Closed down, ball rebounding in field. Gibbs-White will find Semedo with space to try and drive over the halfway line at speed. Nelson Semedo. Closed down by Robinson. Ball back in field to Gibbs-White, middle of the Albion half. Switching it here to Neto. Neto lining up one from distance. It was deflected. It was cleared away by Bartley. Neto challenged, and Livermore just turning and hooking it towards the halfway line. Saiss across in front of his man. Ain't Nouri back to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White trying to switch the play. There was too much on that pass, and he'll go for an Albion throw deep inside their own half, and Traore is going to go and play ball boy.
Yeah, just getting the ball, because they'll take the time with anything. He did last time, Gibbs.
5.5 minutes remain at Molineux for Wolves to at least find an equaliser on Derby Day. Semedo's header, Traore infield to Gibbs-White, had to go back to Saiss, just to the right of the centre circle. Low across to the feet of Ryan Aït-Nouri. Being shown back in field. Then Donker taking over. Fighting Bolly to bring it forwards. Just the feet of Semedo. Semedo infield here to Dendoncker. Dendoncker carrying it. Robinson cutting out a pass meant for Gibbs-White. Cleared up towards Robson Kanu. Bolly wins it in the air. Drops to Saiss. Falls towards the feet of Catrone. Catrone caught. Wolves free kick, and another chance to send the boys forwards on the back.
Yeah. You'd think that they're going to get one good opportunity in this last bit of time. I'm just hoping they could take it.
Gibbs-White and Neto stood over it. It's Neto left-footed this time. Bolly climbing highest. Couldn't quite find a teammate. Semedo going in. Oh, and a big block by Bartley, who came flying out as Semedo tried to strike it left-footed from a central position. It was flying. And that's the desire from Kyle Bartley to try and keep his team in front.
Yeah.
Wolves need to show the same kind of spirit.
Just keep going, keep plugging away. They're just sitting in there. They're not coming out at all, West Brom. They're hoping they can get the ball to Robson Kanu, but that's about it.
Aït-Nouri cutting in field. Aït-Nouri right-footed, striking high over the top of the crossbar. Well, it's attack versus defence.
Yeah. And they've got a player who's gone down just to waste a bit of time.
It is Bartley.
Yeah. Well, he's holding his leg. He's hit him on the side. So he's kind of holding the wrong area. He says he's got cramp.
Hopefully that time will be added on. 3 minutes remain. 3 minutes to at least find an equaliser. Button to take the goal kick. Will be launched over the halfway line. Aït-Nouri can let it bounce out of play for a Wolves throw. Into Gibbs-White. Under pressure, did well to play it back to Saiss. Saiss slipped as he tried to play it forwards, but Catrone's made a very clever run on this, and Ajay got a cross in front of him. Catrone asking the question of Michael Oliver, who says no, and it's a goal kick.
No, so the ball up from Saiss. It looked like Catrone was just going to get onto the end of it. Well, the referee keeps warning the goalkeeper Button, but he's done nothing about it. It's half a dozen times now he's just took his time with everything.
And time is beginning to creep away from Wolverhampton Wanderers. 2 minutes of the 90 remaining. And Still in the second half, from 12 efforts on goal, not a single one on target.
Yeah, well, that tells you the story of the game, doesn't it? That they haven't done enough in front of goal.
There's been 6 blocked. There might have been. But might have beens aren't good enough on Derby Day. Here's Gibbs White. Out to the right-hand side for Semedo. Sliding challenge from Gibbs. Wolves throw. A couple of yards from the corner flag. 70% possession second half Wolves have had.
Well, it just shows you, doing it. So look, the possession, it's everything.
Bolly.
That's what you do with it.
Neto, infield to Gibbs White. Sawyer's got a foot in. It came to Dendoncker. Back to Saiz on the edge of the centre circle. Looking downfield. Saiz trying to whip the ball. It's a lovely ball out to Neto. Had to control off his head and he'll settle for a throw. As Gibbs got a foot in. Semedo with the ball in hand. A little bit more urgency, please. Here's Semedo to Traore. Semedo again carrying the ball forwards. The reverse one. Fabio Silva turning, going down. And a free kick given against Fabio Silva, who's going to get a yellow card for simulation.
It'd be interesting to see the replay.
It was a clever reverse ball.
Yeah, no contact at all, is there? He's got one right at last.
Oh dear. Last 10 seconds of the 90. How much time is going to be added on?
Well, probably about 4 minutes, I'd think.
Can Wolves craft one more good opportunity? 4 minutes is what is being added on.
Yeah.
4 minutes to save themselves on Derby Day. Oh, and Traore lets the ball run past his feet from Semedo's pass. Gibbs is arguing and saying that a J is going to take the throw. And he's still talking. 20 seconds later, the throw is taken. Robson-Kanu trying to hold it up. It's a Wolves throw. Thrown infield by Semedo to remain Saiz.
Well, you might as well throw everything at it now. Just everybody just try and get up there on the top line, put pressure on them, just put the ball into there.
Saiz was still carrying it. Goes wide to the left-hand side to Neto, and Saiz has gone in the box. It's going to come off the head of Livermore, and it will be a Wolves corner. 3 minutes of the 4 being added on, still to play. Wolves searching for an equaliser. Eleventh corner of the game as Neto whips it in deep. Saiz couldn't quite get there. I think it came off the head of Bartley. And Sawyer's Gibbs White's done well. Made sure he got the Wolves throw. Trying to throw it in quickly. Gibbs clearing. Aït-Nouri just puts it high, deep into the Albion half. Ball's going to drop to Gibbs White. Out on the right-hand touchline. Sets himself. Crosses from deep. It's won in the air by Ajayi. Gibbs just helps on its way. Another Wolves throw. Gibbs White looking around. Someone's got to make a move for him. Fabio Silva trying to do so. Traore gives it back to Gibbs White. Infield to Fabio Silva, to Traore. Showed too much of it to Robinson, who will just launch it downfield, but it's a clever ball to Robson-Kanu, and Robson-Kanu has just set off for the corner. No other thought in his mind. Up against Semedo. Semedo trying to get a foot to the ball. Robson-Kanu getting his body back across it. It's a goal kick. We have 1:40 still to play.
Yeah, I don't think this ball's going to come out the corner. I'll say he's going to goal kick. I'll give a free kick there to West Brom. But again, just get forward, just go up there, just put it up there. You might as well.
Saiz to Gibbs White on the halfway line. To the right-hand side to Semedo. 1:20 still to play. Semedo's, he slips as he tries to launch it in from deep. Robinson, and then Traore loses his footing. And again, it's played deep into the Wolves half. Bolly there first this time. Playing it to Semedo. Semedo's giving it straight to Robinson. And Robson-Kanu again taking it. And again, he's going to head towards the corner. And Wolves need to get some bodies over there. because they're not going to play it anywhere else. What are they doing running back to goal?
I was going to say they're running back to goal and just standing off him. So look, and they're just letting them just run with the ball, no pressure on it at all.
40 seconds still to play.
Well, I don't think this is going to come anywhere near into the half that we want it.
Gibbs with a throw. Thrown down the line. It's out of play. It'll be a Wolves throw. They have 25 seconds to get themselves the length of the field for one more opportunity to get an equaliser on Derby Day. It's thrown short to Gibbs-White. Back to Semedo. Semedo carrying it. Desperate hack it in by Robinson. Put over the top for Fabio Silva to chase. Fabio Silva whipping it towards the edge of the box. Dendoncker with a flick on. It comes to Neto. Neto trying to go past his man. Neto going past another, trying to get the cross in. It comes back and the final whistle goes. And it is Derby Day despair again for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They had to wait 9 years to get this derby back. And after 9 years wait, the wait will go on for a victory over West Bromwich Albion. 1-0 down early on when Willy Bolly gave away a penalty. Suspicions that it may have been outside the penalty area. VAR checked it, were happy enough with the decision. Mateus Pereira stepped up and scored. Wolves got them back on level terms. Fabio Silva's first goal from open play. And then a couple of minutes later, Willy Bolly stepping home from a set piece. Wolves 2-1 up at the break, but a sloppy spell at the start of the second period. First of all, allowing Semi Ajayi to head the ball home from a long throw from the right-hand side. And then another penalty as Connor Cody fouled Callum Robinson. And Pereira stepped up again. And for a second time in the game, sent Rui Patricio the wrong way. Wolves tried as much as they could in the second half, but they only ended up with one effort on target out of 12 in that second period. And it's heartbreak for so many who hold the old gold so dear. This will hurt an awful, awful lot. It finished Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 3.
Yeah, so again, you can't keep giving away goals as we are at the moment. So like, to give an away team 3 goals, it's an uphill battle after being 2-1 up. So looking relatively comfortable with the second half. And then to concede, I think it was within 4 minutes of each of the goals. You just can't do it. You can't be making the errors that we are. We're getting punished for some of the decisions that we're making. And then you can see what it means to the West Brom players going off. It's their second win, and we've got to try and get a win from somewhere, an ugly one, whatever. Forget about the performance. We've got to try and get a win, but they've got to cut out the mistakes.
It was always the fear this could happen on this type of occasion with the way Wolves have been playing. When it's just not going for you, it really goes against you. And some of the decisions, some of the issues in the game, Wolves possibly could have had a penalty in the first half, but really it's been sloppy mistakes have cost them again. And the recriminations will go long and deep into this one. There have been murmurs of discontent around at some of the performances and results, but losing against your nearest rivals hurts even more. We will start the process of reviewing what happened here in a moment or two's time. This is Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Join the pack. Become a 2021 member online today. Whether you're a dribbler joining for the first time or an international fan supporting from afar. Being a Wolves member gets you an exclusive joining gift, £10 Megastore voucher, and exclusive offers from Wolves and our partners. For more information and to join, visit membership.wolves.co.uk.
Wolves Lottery is committed to helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money can't buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/Wolves-Lottery.
We can't welcome you to the Wolves megastore at the moment, but our online store is available 24/7. Visit shop.wolves.co.uk for huge savings on replica kits, training wear and exclusive Wolves clothing ranges.
Wolves TV, the home of live uninterrupted radio commentary of every single Wolves game.
Here it is! Oh, you beauty!
But that's not all. Wolves TV also brings you extended and alternative match highlights, interviews with the team, behind-the-scenes features and training coverage, plus see every goal Wolves score from every angle.
The volley, oh, what a goal! That is simply stunning!
So check out Wolves TV online at wolves.co.uk or on the move via the Wolves app. Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So full time here at Molineux, and I'm sorry I have to confirm it. Wolves 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. The story of the game, Wolves 68% possession over the game in total, but 71% in that second half. They had 23 efforts on goal, 6 on target, 10 off target, and 7 blocked. They had 11 corners in the game. They had 6 corners just in that second half, and they weren't able to turn that kind of dominance statistically into anything. And it's our job now, boys, to try and work out why. I can see the looks on your faces, Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme, the same shock that will be on many. Looms, I'll come to you first. What happened?
Well, let's break it down. Wasn't good enough second half. I think dominated with the ball. We knew we were going to, but again, I felt in the first half we could have dropped the gear. Second half we came out and it was just very much the same. Defensively, from the long throw, it's helped on. Okay, that's a difficult one. Go win the first header. If you don't win the first header, go win the second header. He never really knew much about it, but again, in the back of the net. The touch on Connor Cody on Callum Robinson, there's very minimal contact. It's one of those for Oliver to give it the way that he did. I've looked at it on the angles that we had, and you still don't know if there was contact or not. But he was adamant he gave it. VAR would have looked at it, and it's one of them. Had we done enough? We've created chances. 1 shot on target, second half. Not good enough. It's not good enough. But again, we had so much of the ball. There was second half, there was 12 shots in total, 6 off target, 5 block shots. There was big chances. Some of the balls, I think there was Adama Traore and Silva going for the same ball. Adama's got to call for it. It's a great ball in from Neto. It's a clear header, but Silva's taken it off him. Cutrone into the ground. He's done everything right. Into the ground, into the top of the net, but it's bounced over. So on the day, there's little moments that just don't go for you. It's small margins. The performance itself, Nuno, the energy, like you called it yourself, it's game management. They're running the ball into the corner at the end of the match, and we're protecting the box. So it's just knowing what to do, when to do it. I love the patience. I love the build-up play, getting into the final third, the attacking third. I thought we created the chances, but it just shows you if you don't put them in the back of the net, you're going to get punished.
Well, on that basis, Carl Ikeme, were they too patient? Certainly in the way maybe they set up in the whole game today. Were they too one-paced at times? I'll say that way. That there were moments, especially as the second half wore on, where they really needed to up the tempo, and it didn't seem to happen.
Mikey, it's difficult. That's not cost us the game today. It's the 3 goals conceded. We can't expect, even though we've not been scoring goals of late, freely. can't be expecting to score 4 goals to win a game either. And the mistakes are not giving us a chance as well. Today we've scored the goals, we've created the chances, but it's just errors really that are costing us. And I know they're very borderline at times, but I believe that we don't need to make them challenges at the same time as well. I feel like we can just hold our ground and shepherd someone. So we was obviously desperate towards the second half, especially after conceding the second and then the third. They're desperate to try and do something, and you could see that desperation come through as well. But ultimately, I think it's the errors that are killing us at the minute. The defensively, which we've been so good as well.
Yeah.
And we're not scoring freely at the minute, so it's difficult to kind of pin that on today, because we did create chances and we have scored goals.
Well, let's look at that then, because that will be a hot topic of discussion. The fact that, and I'm not talking about just today, but the back 4 versus the back 5, and the way things have worked out. And there will be a lot of fans, Tomo, and actually all 3 of you can chip in on this, because I'm interested in all your views as professionals. I'll give you what the fans say, okay? What the fans say to me, what my mates say to me, what they're saying on the fans forums and all sorts. That when they played 5 at the back, and especially from Project Restart in the summer, Wolves were grinding out wins, winning games 1-0, keeping lots of clean sheets, tight, but it wasn't always that entertaining to watch. And fans wanted it to be more entertaining. And the feeling is that it is more attacking, and they do create more with a back 4 because they've got the extra forwards in, but they're clearly conceding goals. So what do we do?
Well, my opinion is, if you go back to a trusted formation. I know he wants to play with the 4, but when people are saying that it's not as attractive, I'll tell you what, I bet you they'd like to win games than keep losing games. And that's the...
Yeah. Was it attractive against Burnley?
No.
That's what I'm saying. No. So there's a time with the quality that we've got in the squad, you go from one formation, even in a game. You start with a 3, a 5, and then once you if you're not breaking it down, you go to your 4 or whatever. But then once we went 2-1 up, if Wolves had come out with a back 5 today and thought, you know what, we don't need to score again, but we need to solid up at the back. That for me is the way to deal with it. But again,
we've got to stop conceding goals. We've got to stop conceding goals because it's killing us.
I don't know the change of formation, swapping at half time does anything really. I think you can say that, but if you're 2-1 up and you've just battered them for a lot of the half, you're not going to think, let's go back to 5 at the back.
They were still a threat, mate. They were still a threat.
Every team's still a threat though, aren't they? So you can't keep changing. Although I don't mind changing formations mid-game, I just don't think it's the way. We can't keep saying, Liverpool don't start switching their formation mid-game. Well, no, not many teams do in the league.
But look, then
now because we've been so good in one formation, we think, if we can go 4-4-3 for one half and then go 5 at the back.
Then it's a question.
It's not the way forward, is it?
No, but that's what squads do today. You're talking about Liverpool there. Liverpool have experienced players that drop in and say, you know what, even though I'm an attacking midfielder or whatever it is, I'm going to sit in because of. Whereas with these formations, it should change during a match anyway, because you're not going to have it all your own way for the full 90 minutes or 96 minutes, including injury time.
I completely agree with you, but I feel like you do you fall back in your formation that you're comfortable with, and whether it's 5 at the back or 4 at the back, I feel that we've not found that way to maybe defend as a unit, maybe in the 4. I think that may be more of our problem.
Would you go back to a 5? So both, yeah. So look, here's a question, both. Would you go back to a 5 with the way that we're conceding goals and the way that we played when we had the 5, that we haven't conceded as many goals? Okay, they're saying that it's not as attractive, but would you go back to the 5 with the way that things are at the minute, that we're scrapping for a result? Was it? We haven't won in 9 years.
He hasn't went back to the 5 or the 3
no,
because
he's would you?
So he's persistent with it because, like you say, Mikey called it. We're probably creating more. The brand of football's a little bit easier on the eye, but it's about winning games. Yeah, so exactly. He's got to weigh that up.
You can't afford to keep losing games. You can't afford to keep losing games. If a formation's not working for you, and like we've worked with a formation that everybody knows, and we've been successful with it. We've done well over the time that we've been in the Premier League. And then all of a sudden, okay, we've changed the formation. Been unfortunate because of injuries. Okay, don't get me wrong. But surely we've got to be looking to go back to that 5 because we can't get a result. We're conceding goals.
The 5 never worked against Burnley for 75 or 70 minutes. They changed it to a 4, and then Silver got his goal.
What I would say about the Burnley is that I think the back 3 was disjointed with kind of Kilman playing in a very unusual on the right, and of course we didn't have a striker. Playing the through. So I think there's, because the kind of counter argument to Burnley is Manchester United, where despite making changes, the back 5 looked a lot better balanced, and Wolves looked a lot better in that game. That's the debate, and that's the debate that fans are going to be having now, Keems.
There's definitely a debate for it, I think, because in the manner that we're conceding goals. I think you look at the first half and you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, let's go to 5 at the back," but then you see the second half and you're screaming for it, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we haven't really got the balance right with the 5 at the back. We haven't got balance with the 4 because we're conceding too many. Because when we play 4, we seem to create more chances and maybe score a little bit more goals, even though we're not scoring a lot. We're not scoring many goals anyway. No. But then we play 5 at the back and we're a little more solid, but we're not creating as many chances. So it's kind of
but the thing is,
a difficult predicament. But I think we are at the point where we just need to be solid. So I wouldn't be against going again back to the 5 at the back, even though I believe long term is a 4.
I guess that the part of the issue, and I just want to throw this in there, that I think there is an element perhaps whereby if you had Jimenez, if you had Podence, then maybe, and I'm probably throwing Johnny into this as well, then the 4 is a potential thing. At the minute, because you're lacking that, that will be the debate as to, because, and this is the crucial thing, and it's interesting listening to all 3 of you there, because it is so hard, isn't it, when you look at this and you kind of go, well, they need to find goals, and they are creating chances. You know, they could have got 4, 5, 6 today, and another day with maybe, you know, other elements of luck involved in it. So it's so hard to try and come down on one side or another on this. Is that right? Is that fair? Or should we be more direct and say, no, this is where they need to be now for the next couple of weeks to get themselves building up? And actually, Carl Ikeme, come to you on this, because I remember a spell under Kenny Jackett when there was a real tough run just before Christmas. And I think there was a defeat away at Sheffield Wednesday. And it was almost like, right, we go back to what we know. Yeah. Kevin McDonald sat in the midfield and they won 3 of the next 4, 1-0 or something, and got going again. Is that what we're talking about now? That go back to what we know. What is the Wolves' identity of the last 3 years?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and I won't be surprised if it does go back to the 5 at the back, to the 5, maybe just to grind a few results out. But in the same argument, are we set up for a 5 as we used to be with the players that we've missing? Does Aït-Nouri and Semedo play better in a 5? Are we a better team in a 5 at the minute? I feel like Nuno's looking at the team and trying to find out how to get the best out of everyone to find the balance. So there's definitely an argument to go to the 5, just because we're conceding too many goals that we didn't concede before, but we haven't got the same players that we had there before either. So I think it's a difficult decision to make, but I would not be surprised to see him go back to the 5 just to be more solid. But I don't know if we're equipped for the 5 at the back with the team we've got at the minute, because I feel like Jimenez is so pivotal to that 5 working.
Don't forget
and Johnny, sorry.
Well, the tightest Wolves have looked with the back 5 this season was Kilman on the left and Saiz at left wing back.
Exactly, and if you look at it as well, Duckett is gone. Obviously, Semedo's a good player, and Johnny's not available. So we're missing two integral members out of that 5 anyway. And do Aït-Nouri and Semedo I'm not saying they've struggled in the 5, but are they the same? Do they have the same impact as Johnny and Duck had? And I don't think they do.
But I just think for me as well, so look, if we go back to the 5, at least everybody knows what we're doing. We've got to try and stop conceding goals. The end result is we've got to stop conceding goals. And I know we don't want to go back to a 5 and the 3 at the back,
but we've got to try and start somewhere. We've got to try and stop the goals coming in, because at the end of the day, okay, it's not as attractive, but we're missing the opportunities because we haven't got Jimenez at the minute. We're not scoring the goals that we created. Yeah. So we've got to stop conceding. My point is, we've got to stop conceding because we haven't got a chance of winning a game if we keep conceding as we are.
On that basis, Chris Iwelumo, do we have to look at the midfield? Because I think for a number of weeks we've probably kind of left them out of anything, because we talk about the forwards and not taking chances, and we talk about the defence and costing mistakes. You look at the moves for the 2 penalties that West Brom got today, and the element of the way those balls were able to be played to the forward players of West Bromwich Albion. You look at Everton's first goal on Tuesday night. Are we looking at the midfield 3 as well, and maybe not talking enough about the way that they're operating at the minute?
No, we've got to think about it. We've got to be very careful what we say here, for the fact that we love it that we can play through the thirds. Today, we tried to play out, it got intercepted, and all of a sudden we're defending. Now, on another day, we have played through and it's outstanding. So we can't tell the players that, sometimes you just got to go long, which again, you're saying our build-up was a little bit patient. Whereas we're playing into West Brom's hands if we're going direct, straight balls. So I feel that, I'm trying to think who it was, I'm not sure if it was Neves or Moutinho that tried to pass it and it got cut out. Then all of a sudden the ball got released to Robinson. Then Bawley comes in with a challenge. This is the way that we play. Now the argument is, if it's a 3 or a 5 at the back, we are more defensively solid, but then we're creating less chances. Now if we're creating less chances, with the players and the personnel that we've got available, are we going to be winning games with that? We do concede goals with that. We conceded 4 goals against West Ham, playing with a 5. We conceded the game before that 3 goals against Man City. So again, I agree with what Tom was saying. It's an understanding of that, the personnel in that position. But then I agree with what Keem's saying. Semedo, Aït-Nouri, are they bringing to the table what their best in that formation?
But the point I'm trying to get to here, Lance, is that
the midfield.
Moving on from the midfield, moving on from the defence and the back 5 or the back 4, because whichever one you play, that midfield 3, the midfield 3 selected today, that Gibbs White maybe had a showing in the second half, that maybe he's put his hand up and said, I can operate not just as a number 10. What do you do in that area?
Well, we spoke about it yesterday, and obviously Moutinho, as excellent as he was, I think today's one of the games that he could have been left out, and a Gibbs White comes in because he brings you more movement in behind, he stretches, can play. So again, it's just personnel, isn't it? It's personnel. Like you said, if we'd scored 6 goals today, there's not an argument to say that we never deserved it. So if we're not creating the chances, then we've got to look at the formation and the question, but it's a result business.
Yeah.
So as a manager, you've got to think, right, okay, I think Dave Edwards called it, didn't he, when he says, against, no disrespect, against the lesser teams who are struggling, maybe try the 4 because we're going to be dominant. We've got 71 possession in the second half. You can't have any more of the ball. We've created more chances. So again...
Still not scored, though.
Exactly, but you're leaving it. But look at their chance. It's been 2 penalty kicks. One of the second penalty kick, I'm still waiting for the contact. I'm looking for it. I can't see it. So again, but that's the small margins in football.
Do you think that we need to go in the transfer market? Do you think that we need to bring somebody in? I know it's difficult in January, don't get me wrong, and it's to get the right person, but do you think that we need to bring somebody in?
Like it, what? I don't know, for Jimenez. Yeah. We've been calling it. We've been saying it for months. Yeah. Look at all the teams out there. There's Everton, Calvert-Lewin. There's no like for like. Harry Kane, Tottenham. There's no like for like. Jimenez, Wolves. There's no like for like. But you can't bring in someone of that without spending good money that's tried and tested. And you're thinking, well, wait a minute. When Jimenez comes back, what's happening then? So is it a loan?
Yeah.
That's so it's so difficult.
I think it's difficult to bring someone in, but I think it just gives the dressing room a lift as well, because I'm buzzing for Fabio today, and Cutrone's come back as well. But I think everyone in that change room will be thinking, well, we need to bring a striker in as well. But just to go back to the point, I think it's everyone's responsibility to defend and attack now. We were saying it earlier about getting goals. It's everyone's responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility to keep the clean sheets as well. And just the midfield's not getting bypassed in this. Everyone needs to take responsibility because you defend. We defended as a team. That's what was so good about us. It's not necessarily that we had 5 at the back. It was because we defended and we were so well drilled as a team. Do you know what I mean? And it needs to go. It needs to be in the defending and attacking, which we haven't quite got that balance right yet this season, I believe.
Guys, thank you very much. I think it's been really interesting post-match discussion. There will be a lot more that fans, of course, will talk about in the coming days. It's just a small matter of Chorley next. A memory of Tomo arriving at the club and one of Wolves' lowest moments, certainly of recent history. We'll try and enjoy the rest of your weekend. This one will take some getting over, but thank you to Carl Ikeme, to Chris Iwelumo, and to Andy Thompson. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all soon.